Hello, and welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this ragtag group of heroes and adventurers. But this is not about me. This is about the lovely players who join me each and every Wednesday. Please say hello, lovely players, and introduce yourselves to the wonderful people.
Hello, lovely players. My name's Claire. I'm playing Mira, the Dragonborn Sorcerer, half red, half silver, who is enjoying her flight. Welcome to anyone new on the stream.
If you're new to the stream, heads up, there's 40 episodes of backstory that you might want to go check out at YouTube, The Lost Archives, or iTunes, The Lost Archives D&D Podcast, or Google Podcast, the Lost Archives D&D Podcast, and then come back and quickly listen to all of those. It's, I think, roughly about 80, 90 hours of content, and then quickly come and rejoin us, and we'll just be in time for next week's episode. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Hello, everybody. I am Michael. I'm playing Lockie Hobbs, the Warforged Artificer, who is still very excited to be on a ship. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
He has ideas. A lot of ideas.
Ooh, we might get to explore some of those.
We will see.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well,
keep
I'm
the
going to
audience
jump
guessing.
Well, that's it. He's gonna let a role play out in the session, so everyone can see it happen. But, anyway, I'm Jared. I'm playing the character of Jin. A Lyra in Whisperwind at the moment. I'm sort of like I guess spy / bard character. One that doesn't actually seduce every person he sees, though, which is a bit of a step away from the bard archetype.
Oh, I think the last bard I played wasn't that much into seduction. Didn't I play like this awkward Irish dude?
Yeah, you did, actually. I miss him. But yeah, so looking forward to the session ahead and see how we go after we just had a chimera attack on the airship. And I'll pass it over to Ellie.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Moon Druid, and she is currently a kick-ass giant constrictor snake and has a giant constrictor snake mate on the ship with her at the moment. So, hopefully no more manticore attacks.
No promises.
Are they going to be back with friends?
Yeah, so this is episode number 40. Get excited. We are now... we're actually... very, very close to 50 episodes, half a century of episodes, which also means we're getting close to about 100 hours of content as well, which is kind of insane. So thank you everybody who's listening to episode 40. This has been a journey. I can't believe we're at 40 episodes. When we started this back in lockdown in Melbourne, I don't think any of us were thinking it would be this popular. It would it was just a really fun D&D session with some friends that I thought, oh look, hey, we've got nothing better to do. Why don't we just record it anyway? And hopefully some people can get inspired to try D&D, just like we were inspired, I think, because Claire and I started D&D after listening to like Matt Mercer and Critical Role and Mark Humes and the High Rollers group. That's what got us into D&D. Yep. And so we really wanted this to be an inspiration for people to go and try D&D, because I'd always I'd heard about it, had been the periphery of my experience, and I regret not trying it sooner. And I wish I'd gotten into this way sooner, because it's such a fun game, Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, that was the reason behind the podcast initially. I think Claire and I just wanted to make sure other people could get a chance to try D&D as well. But it's become so much more. It's now become a bit of a goal for me to do this full time. So that'll be exciting when I can get that working. Yeah. In the meantime, you got to work for the muns. But yeah, it's been a little bit of time since we last saw you. Last episode, we did indeed have a manticore attack on the deck of the airship. The group, Mira, Jin, Lockie, and Lyra, have just left Palin, the capital city of the Ocean Empire, after attending a council meeting of lords, spies, and mercenary groups to discuss the threat posed by the Order of the Dragon, which is looming larger each passing day. The group know that the Order of the Dragon's been around in various forms for centuries, historically attempting to use necromancy to bring the bodies of dead dragons back to life as Dracoliches, so pretty chill activities for the most part. But in the past few years, something seems to have changed. The goal now seems to be the accumulation of vast amounts of gold and silver and treasure by any means necessary. The group have discovered, and now know for a fact, that acquiring this wealth is not the end game. There's a plan for this gold and silver and treasure, the purpose of this hoard, which seems to be some integral part of a ritual required to release Tiamat, one of the betrayer gods, from her prison. Other requirements or specifications remain clouded at this point, except that there are 5 chromatic dragon masks which are used in the ritual, as well as a sneaking suspicion that Mira herself might somehow be needed for the ritual.
Nah.
Having thwarted... Nah? Okay, fair enough. In that case, I'll remove that. In that case, if you're not suspicious of that anymore, I know you were suspicious of that for a time, but if you're not suspicious anymore, in that case, you guys know for a fact that Mira's not needed.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys,
No.
you're convinced that it's fine. It's not going to be a problem at all.
She'll be right.
She'll be right.
Yeah, sorcerers.
Having thwarted. Sorcerers are known as the tankiest group in D&D, the tankiest class. That's very true. What are your hit points, Claire, right now? Like 4?
Oh, come on, man. They're like
14.
14.
Okay. 50's not too bad. Having thwarted many of the cult's schemes, the Tempest Guild have now acquired an airship and begun exploring the vast open world of Nostea. Having travelled north of the capital city of Palin up towards an area on the Outer Isles, an area where they suspect one of the cult leaders, a cult leader known as Varum the White, is currently in hiding or is located. Having heard rumours that he is around that area searching for something or requiring something. So the party have taken their airship across country, acquired a new crew. Last episode we met Grisha, Corvin and Arvel, 3 new crew members who the party have brought on board to help manage the airship in their absence. But they were indeed attacked by Chimera, having entered into the upper layers of the clouds. 2 Chimera emerged from a cloud bank and began attacking the ship. Lyra, acting quickly, turned into a giant constrictor snake and summoned another giant constrictor snake. DMs love it when players start summoning animals onto the decks of things, so thank you for that. And Illyrian conjured the, I think was it a major image? No, it was major image. Yes, the major image of an ancient black dragon, and had it roar a warning in Draconic. Combined with the attacks from Lockie and from Mira, these effects actually managed to scare both Chimera off the ship. There's a few sort of splatters of blood and the occasional burn mark on the deck, but the ship has actually survived fairly intact. As you sort of look up and see the Chimera just dropping below the cloud layer, we last left off the Chimera just plummeting towards the ground to get away from you as quickly as possible. You can see that the deck of the ship is mild marks only, but has escaped mostly unharmed. Grisha sort of collapses to the ground, panting, and drops her large battle axe. Oh my goodness, that was intense. She begins sort of panting.
Yeah, she's pretty injured actually. No, that's fine.
She has some large gashes across her chest and arms, and I believe as well she got head-butted as well, so she's got sort of a purple bruise blossoming across her stomach and abdomen.
So how bloodied is she?
Yeah, she looks pretty hurt.
Okay.
Alright.
I would say significantly injured is the words I would use to describe her.
Alright, Lyra's gonna walk up to her and sort of like...
Slither up to her.
Slither up to her. And realise that she can't cast... Wait, can a warcaster cast spells as a snake?
I don't believe you can cast spells in wild shape.
At level 17.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but before that, you can't.
Do that.
Alright, then she drops her snake form and she does a 3rd level healing word on her and just sort of like gently brushing her off on the shoulders, just being like, there you go, that was a good fight, alright, how are you feeling after this? And like she'll sort of give her the healing, just sort of see how she's going.
I'm not feeling the best. That was I do feel a bit better now though, thank you.
Yeah, just a little bit. Sorry, I can't do too much more. I'm trying to stock up my my healing kit. It might take a little bit. Previously it routed away after being, left for about 600 years. But so I am re-establishing this eventually.
As you cast your 3rd level healing, what is that you've cast? Healing word.
Yeah.
3rd level healing word. She regains 12 hit points, and you watch as some of the wounds knit back together, large sort of scars still present, and the bruise softens somewhat, but is still this sort of aggressive purplish green colour slowly spreading. But the panting sort of slows a bit. She sort of sits back, her muscles sort of begin to untense a bit, and she looks a bit more relaxed and ready. Leosin sort of like moves around towards the front of the ship and goes, "My goodness, that was absolutely intense. Is everyone all right? Wow, that's a very impressive illusion of a dragon. I genuinely was quite concerned for a few seconds there that we were in a lot more trouble. That was..."
Well, yes. It is very good that I was able to sort of let everyone know before it sort of appeared.
If you had not said something, I probably would have tried to maneuver the ship to shake it off, which, I mean, would have meant that you might have been shaken off too, so that was very good giving me the warning. Thank you. Please, all warnings in future. Much appreciated. Thank you.
It's, so the minor image or mage image is a concentration spell, so it lasts for 10 minutes. So I'm going to have the dragon sort of almost look like it just is now sitting down, like sort of like on its, just sort of picking its teeth, and just sort of generally look like it's like lounging around now on the deck.
Wow. Do you want to even like have it position itself as the figurehead for a bit and just do a few occasional roars? And what do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I can do that. And I sort of move it up here.
Yeah.
And it's sort of gonna go on all fours and sort of look up towards the sky, and then every now and again just let out some roars and sort of unfurl its wings to make itself look way bigger.
Can you make me an intimidation check with advantage, please? I just want a figure that I can use heading forwards, because this will affect your random encounters.
Oh, yeah.
Natural 20, and so 27 and 25. Wow. I'm going to let you know right now, you're not going to have to roll any more random encounters for the rest of your journey, because if this thing's sitting up, oh no, it's 10 minutes. You said
10 minutes.
We might have another one in the future, but yeah, I mean, as this
keep
black
this going, it's a 3rd level spell.
As this black ancient dragon moves to the front of the boat and begins roaring and breathing gouts of acid and just looking terrifying, you get the feeling that everything in the nearby vicinity is moving away as quickly as possible. Even the bird song dies down, and it is actually eerily quiet. As soon as the dragon stops roaring, all you can hear is the sound of the engines going, keeping the propellers functioning, the wind whistling past, but no other noise, as if every living creature within earshot of that roar and visual confirmation of that dragon is just gone. It just does not want anything to do with this boat right now, with this ship. Amazing. Leosin sort of moves over towards you, Mira. Thank you for not setting the ship on fire. I was quite concerned that we might have a bit of flames licking the deck of the ship, but you did a really good job of controlling the flames. That was very well done. You've definitely improved a bit since I last saw you. You've got a lot more control over your fire and your ice. That crystal lattice that you created with the ice, that was very impressive.
Oh, Helios, and that's very kind of you. Yes, it's practice, I guess. Just practice.
Genuinely, without that and without the snakes, and he points over towards the snakes and then shudders visibly, I think that could have been a lot worse. That was masterfully done. Very, very well done indeed.
That is quite a particular set of skills, isn't it?
That is a powerful combination. Those two working together.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and I can see why you recruited. Yes, you've recruited very well. I can see why. Lockie and Lyra, that was very nicely done. Lockie, did I see you disassemble and reassemble yourself on the deck of the ship?
Yes, briefly, I did. All my parts are magnetized in some form or
Wow.
another.
And this armor that you've got, and he sort of points down at your glove, this massive gauntlet, which is still crackling with energy. That looks like it packs a bit of a punch.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Unintentionally, but I mean, yes, that was obviously my intention. Was a great pun. And yes, Lyra, your ability to turn into a snake, that's a little bit similar to what Wiltix can do, one of the other members of the team, except he turns into a wolf. Do you just turn into a snake?
No, I can do a big wolf too.
He doesn't turn into a full wolf. He kind of, I think he's a werewolf. Is that? That's the impression I got.
No, I'm not a werewolf. I'm just a wolf.
Well, you'd be a weresnake,
or a snake, or it's more just an at-will kind of thing that I can just turn into animals.
Yeah, I don't think his was 100% at will. I think he had some control over it, but not the most.
Yeah, no. A lot of young druids did go through that to begin with, but it was more like a puberty thing. Was he going through puberty?
Is he a teen wolf ticks? Is he?
Yes.
Simon's not here to defend himself, so therefore.
No, just Owen.
Yeah, wow. Well, I guess we better. What was that? Sorry, Mira?
I said we've got quite the team, even if we don't have your brother or Wiltix. But recruiting, isn't it right?
You see Corvin walk over to the edge of the ship and look over sadly, and then look down at the empty knife sheath that he had, because he threw a knife at the chimera, and it was still in the chimera when it jumped off the edge. He sort of looks a bit sadly and goes, "Lost and gone forever."
What?
Oh, I can replace that. That comes out of the company funds. That's an incidental. That's okay. Here you go. I'll give him a dagger. I've got a dagger.
Oh, goody! A new toy! Yay! You make me so happy, Daddy.
Oh God!
And he claps his little wings together.
I really wish Kenku could tell stories.
Oh, I know lots of stories. Some that would turn your hair white.
Oh. I don't know about that. I don't have any. Sure.
And Corvin sort of steps up to you, Mira. Once upon a time, creatures, bird-like creatures, spied for the enemy and were punished. But that's just a tale we tell ourselves.
Would I know the reference to that? Because I don't know if Mira would know.
I'll get you to make me a history check, Mira.
Mira might know the lore about. I don't know. Let's have a look.
You might know the lore.
No.
3. Mira, you're like, that's a scary story to tell a child before bed.
Yeah.
Bit inappropriate bedtime story. With that, Corvin sort of steps away, moves back down towards the lower decks, looking like he's getting ready to continue getting some of the other things ready that he needs to get ready. Okie dokie. Well, would you guys like to do anything else on the deck of the ship? Grisha sort of begins moving around. Now that she's looking a little bit better, she moves back down towards and looks like she's heading downstairs to have a bit of a rest in one of the beds. It looks like she's ready for a bit of a lie down after that. So she heads down below and disappears below deck. What did you guys want to do? Was there anything you wanted to do during this time, or shall we jump back to the big map and let you move across?
Just wanted to give it a once over, make sure nothing's stressed or strained or broken.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Join him and use mending just to see if there's anything simple that she can fix, like broken boards or stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that.
So Lockie, you remember that the forward left propeller is operating a little bit under capacity. It seems to be operating a little bit of a slower speed, and the ship is sort of leaning slightly towards the right as a result. Could you please make me a Arcana check with advantage?
Cool.
Given your history, so a 9 and a 9. Yeah, so Lockie, as you begin looking over the propeller, you're not 100% sure what component is not functioning at capacity. So you sort of direct Lyra, and it's very hard to get an idea of what she should be focusing the mending on. But Lyra does a bit of a general mend. It doesn't look like it has a huge amount of effect on the propeller, but the surface burns and the little cuts and grazes from the claws on the wood of the ship, yeah, Lyra can just fix up with a click of her fingers very, very easily. So it looks like the ship is looking okay, but yeah, functionally it looks like that front left propeller is still not 100% fixed at this point.
You rascal. Going to have to shut you down at some stage and give you a good once-over.
Lyra's just standing next to you. What?
Oh, not you, dear. Miss Propeller.
How long does your snake last, Lyra?
I was actually just trying to look that up. Sorry, Cora's trying to eat my guitar.
Up to 1 hour.
Nice.
Concentration for 1 hour. There you go.
Yep, so he's just gonna hang out until
just
she
hangs out with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see Leosin glancing towards it as he sort of retakes the helm of the ship. He sort of keeps glancing towards it, looking a little bit uncomfortable and just checking it's not close to him. Like, he's always sort of consciously aware of where it is on the deck of the ship. You get the feeling that Leosin's not super stoked with snakes.
The conjure animals as well, is that an actual animal? Or it's not like
it's a fey spirit in the
Yeah,
form of an
fae.
animal. So it actually kind of is an animal. Like, because it takes the physical form of an animal. I think the spell specifically says, like, you conjure fey spirits that take... Here we go. You summon fey spirits that take the form of beasts and appear in occupied spaces. So I would argue that it is essentially a real creature. It's just that it's a fey spirit that's sort of taken on the appearance of a beast and taken on physical form. So I think when I described this, I think I said like the air was pulled towards it to give it mass and matter, and that's how it formed this snake body around itself. I stand by that. I think the fey spirit summons matter and converts matter to take on the form when it crosses into the material plane. Not to get too physicsy, but sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna unpack how each spell works, molecule by molecule. Cool. Well, let's head back to the big map in that case as you guys continue on your journey. So I'll just bring us back over to. I always forget how long this map takes to load in because it's such a high resolution. So sorry, bear with us, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube or watching this on Twitch, I apologize. The map is going to take a few seconds to tick on over because it is such a high resolution map. I should try and do a compressed version of it. But yeah, you guys continue your journey over towards the north, the northeast specifically. What I will have you guys do is, could I please have Mira and Lockie? Could you both roll me a D10, please?
Yes.
4.
4.
7.
Fantastic. As the ship begins heading towards the coastline, far down below you can see the land giving way from lush, rich forests to more open grasslands and fields. It looks like this area of Oshia, the sort of area around Grasshose, Stembara and Cloudforge is a lot more farmland and tallowed earth. You can see large fields of what looks like maybe corn or some other sort of tall, leafy vegetable. Wheat fields sort of stretching below as well on the other side of Grasshose, and a couple of the rivers below as well, seemingly fished quite heavily with large nets and water wheels set up along their borders. As you approach the coastline, the weather begins to turn a little. You can feel the pressure drop slightly on board the ship, the air turning a little bit colder, and the sun disappears behind slightly grey, dark clouds out over the ocean. And as an air of decency, as the airship crosses Mitvar down below it, you can see this small fishing village on a bit of a ragged, rough coastline of cliffs and a shattered coast with no sand. The storm clouds begin growing darker and darker. The air begins to whip up and it feels colder, much less warm and friendly than it did when you first set off. My question is, what would you guys like to do?
How long did it take
Just
us
out of interest.
to move from there to here? do you think?
It's taken a couple of hours. So during that time, would you guys like to know what you would be doing during those few hours? So let's do that first. So yeah, so you've had about 4 or 5 hours of the airship moving across over the land below.
Okay, cool.
So we'll start with Lockie. Yeah, what would Lockie be doing during that time?
Well, he was a little underwhelmed at the speed that he could get to the deck. So he's actually just for the past couple of hours just been looking at sort of that approach and doing a little poke around the window that's there. See if we could figure something out, some quicker way to get him to the deck.
Yeah, describe for me what you're imagining. And
let me see. Okay, well, he has the ability to make a rope of climbing.
Yep.
So I think the idea that's brewing in his mind at the moment is to create a series of trapdoors, but that will take some time. So at the moment it's just like preliminary. So he's looking for a bit more of a bodgy way to fix it, so that maybe you can hang the rope of climbing over the railing, so it dangles near the window, so you can just go and grab it next time.
Yeah, absolutely. You could just use a normal rope too. You don't have to necessarily use a magic item. You have to use one of your artificer infusions to create it.
Yeah, he does. Well, it's just the rope of climbing with an action will pull me. So
straight
it's having to do the climb. I can just yank on it and just
Yeah, I mean, not a bad idea either. You could also have it. I mean, the trapdoors is a good idea. I like that. I think if you've got a bit of time, if you've got a bit of downtime and access to wood, you could easily put in 2 trapdoors on the decks above. Easy peasy. Mira, what would you be doing in your downtime?
I think Mira. What should be doing? I think she'd be trying to get everything organised. So she'd be, I think, probably the kitchen. I'm not sure of the state of the kitchen, but having rented in so many different places so long, I know that's kind of the first thing I like to organise. So I think Mira would just go into the kitchen and just organise everything. She might have even brought her own Tupperware and is now setting it all up.
I love it. Fantastic. So yeah, you're moving about the kitchen, getting everything organised, the galley. You can see that there's it looks like Leosin has stocked the ship according to your instructions. So whatever you told Leosin to stock the ship with, he has done so. So there's large amounts of fruit and veg. There's a whole barrel of lemons and limes. It looks like Leosin takes the dangers of scurvy very seriously. And he's also stashed next to that 3 bottles of a clear white spirit. With the symbol on the bottle, it just says Amber Run on the bottle.
Amber Run, Amber Rum.
Well, it is Clear Spirit, so it does seem like an odd name for you.
Yeah, interesting.
And then he's also got some salted meats, some cured meats, and salted meats, and some jerkied meats. But he's also got a cooler box, so you can see that there is a underneath the stove area. It looks like the stove is actually powered by the cooler box. So there's 2 gemstones, a sapphire and a ruby. The ruby is directly underneath the stove, the sapphire below it, and it's connected by thin copper wire. And it looks like the sapphire is drawing heat into it and then passing it into the ruby. So it's cooling down the area below the stove to turn it into a fridge and providing heat to the ruby to be used for cooking. So it looks like it's some sort of like arcanist heat transfer device. So it's not creating or it's just moving heat from one area to another, which is looks like to be a pretty powerful enchantment. Sorry, not powerful enchantment, a pretty standard enchantment.
Mira kind of sniffs at that and goes, pretty simple.
I'm like you, but better.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a fridge.
Yeah.
No. The other thing, I think the other thing I was thinking about with Mira is because there is the three decks in the kitchen. Yep. Is there like any pipes or things that go?
Oh well, let's jump back to the airship map for the moment. In that case, I think we're doing some stuff for the airships. Let me take us back to the airship map, and I'll move us back to the kitchen area. Why is Roll20 being weird?
Having a little moment.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm okay now. It's just that was really frustrating. Let me bring you down to the kitchen area, Mira. That's the engine. That's the kitchen. Perfect. So we'll bring you across to the kitchen.
Yeah, because Mira would love nothing more than to have a pneumatic piping system for messages.
Okay. There are no pipes in the kitchen currently. It looks like the kitchen is directly above the engine room. So this sort of corner just below the very edge of the wall that joins the kitchen to the stairs at the deck, the back deck of the ship and the stairs up. It looks like that does join to the engine room, and it also goes up and connects to the upper, to the actual, like, the wheel of the ship as well. It looks like it comes up right onto the top deck where Leosin is currently steering the ship. You think that even if you put it in this corner here, you could probably even have a pipe coming out into the common area just beyond. You've got a pipe there, pipe down to the engine room, and a pipe up on top. So yeah, you think there is definitely room for some sort of pipe system to be installed so that you could shout. Even just shouting through the pipes would be enough to carry the noise, because if you had like copper pipes echoing the noise up and down, you could easily reach all.
Yeah. She makes a note to talk to Lockie about it later. She does a little drawing of it, which is probably not technical at all, but it's like, a pipe, and it says kitchen, and it says, but she's drawn it.
Okay, I'm going to get you to make a check, just out of interest. Could you please make me, I would say this falls under a perception check, or a sleight of hand check.
Oh, okay. Let's try.
I know, weird combination.
Unusual,
Whichever one you choose, I'll describe what you get from it.
Alright, I'll try sleight of hand.
Okay.
4. God, I'm rolling so good.
Yeah, no, you make your technical drawing, you think it looks pretty good, you reckon this could work. You've got nothing stands out to you, you just think, yep, fine, easy peasy.
Excellent. I'll go and show Lockie at some point.
Absolutely. Jin, what are you doing while all this is going down? Currently I've got you at the front of the ship maintaining the dragon.
So that only lasts for 10 minutes, so by that time the dragon's gone. I would probably be in that room next to the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in that room on the table.
Yep.
And it's pretty simple. I'll just be working on getting my thieves' tools done again in downtime, so I can become proficient with them. Absolutely.
Yep. What I'll get you to roll me is just a flat d20. Don't add anything. Just roll me a flat d20.
Okay.
So this is
12.
Yeah, you basically you get Lockie to quickly pull out a lock from one of the doors downstairs that doesn't seem to be particularly useful. You take off the lock to the crew quarters. I mean, they don't need a lock; they'll be fine. And
I have 2 locks as well, though. I bought.
Oh, you've got 2 locks. In that case,
so
you don't even need to steal
that
a lock
lock
from the crew.
for the crew quarters.
In that case, you just start practicing with the lock. You get the sense that a couple more downtime sessions to practice with this. You get the sense that you're getting the hang of it. I mean, you're able to by the end of this sort of 4-hour period, you are able to unlock this lock with your thieves' tools, and you think you've got the general gist of how this lock works. Now it's just about cementing that knowledge and being able to generalize it. So you probably want to get some more locks to practice with. Even practicing with it in the field, you think that you can definitely use the thieves' tools, but not quite proficiently yet, so you don't have your proficiency bonus, but you can use them.
Yep, that's fine. Well then, after that, I'll probably just have a quick talk to Lockie about just having him, because he's an artificer, just help me sort of with other with other locks, so I could have more varied locks.
Yeah, I'd say as you sort of are finishing up, Lockie sort of stamps down the stairs, getting ready to head to the engine room. He's been sort of moving between the upper and lower decks, planning out the areas where his trapdoor's going to go. You can see he's got some chalk, and he's marking out sections on the floor and the roof where he's sort of planning the best location for this trapdoor. And as he sort of comes back down again from upstairs, you see him sort of stamping past.
Lockie.
Here. Oh, yes. Hello, Jim.
Just a quick little talk. I'm just doing some little training, sort of upskilling myself. There's not really an accomplished thief on the team, so I'm sort of taking that upon myself. The next step in my sort of training, I would like, if you'd be more than happy to, provide me with some more varied locks, either by having them already around or using some of your magnificent skills to, well, shape them, I guess, and make them a bit different.
Let me think. Yes, I absolutely could do that. What kind of locks are you looking for? You're looking for single tumbler locks, or 5 tumbler locks, or you're looking for latching mechanisms? What do you? You know what? I have an idea. I can give you
one of all.
Areas. One of all. That sounds like a fantastic choice. Okay, how about? Let me see. Your room's the one on the end, is it not?
Yes, the green blanket.
I see. Well, you have some room in there. You know what? I think if you give me a little time, I could probably set you up with a wall and give you maybe half a dozen or so locks on a little grate there, and you could just go practice in your off time if you wanted, if you're interested.
Perfect. I sort of stand up and pat him on the shoulder. Thank you, Lockie. I appreciate that greatly.
Oh, I not a problem. Happy to help, my friend.
Do you need any help with what you're getting up to?
Well, I'm just thinking about the efficacy of cutting a hole in the roof here and trying not to fall on my face.
There's a nifty little thing that the I forget what they were called. In Palin, there was sort of like a emergency response unit. Something to do with fires and all that. You could maybe have like a big slide. Oh, not a slide, a pole.
A large pole? Well...
You could go through the whole ship.
I could load a large pole. I could even cut some ridges in the sides of the pole and use my cogs to climb. That is definitely worth thinking about, my friend.
Wait, so you would put your gears on the pole then shoot yourself up and down it?
Yes.
That sounds absolutely fucking amazing.
So Jin will sort of just whistle and go, I don't know if the whistle will be picked up on the audio, but he'll just be like, whew, well, that definitely sounds like an idea. You're a thinking man, Lockie.
Oh, you're the one that gave me the idea. I appreciate it very much.
I do a graceful bow. Yes, I am nothing but short of amazing. I'm kidding.
I'm the best around. Yeah.
I
never go to get to go.
I have some things to think about. So, you see, pop out of his arm comes a couple of little metalworking tools. He's just sort of like, I could use this one, and he'll start muttering to himself.
So as you start muttering to yourself, I sort of walk away and go, well, thanks, Lockie. Lovely to talk to you. Speak to you another time. As you start obviously muttering to yourself, and I just sort of leave it at that. Because I realise that he's going to probably sit there for ranting on about things for like 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
And I'll probably sort of go and say, Lyra, what are you getting up to? AKA, let's go see what she's doing for downtime.
Absolutely, yeah. As you head up to the top deck, Lyra, what would you be doing?
Well, I think her first point of call would probably be to see what's actually on board the ship and try and put together a bit of like a healer's kit or like a first aid kit sort of thing, so that she can like effectively heal the crew without burning all of her spell slots.
Yeah, absolutely. In that case, you're actually in the same area that Jin was in when he was practicing his lockpicks. So as Jin sort of sits at the table, because the main cargo hold is down below, but you guys haven't really got much cargo yet. So the only cargo that's on deck is what's been loaded into the kitchen, and then essentially a couple of barrels of supplies here. Lyra, as you begin sort of passing through them and looking over them, can I get you to make me an investigation check, please?
Certainly.
This is not to see what you find, this is to see what was stocked, but I like the idea of having it be an investigation check. 14! Yeah, as you have a bit of a look through, you can see, unfortunately, no outright healer's kit, but there are a couple of herbs that you recognise that you think could be useful for the doing like making some poultices. There's a few sort of herbs there which they're also like culinary spices, but more importantly, you think you could probably take these away and use them for making like a poultice or a bandage to help sort of like keep infection away while a wound heals on its own. And there's a couple there as well. You can see ginger, which could be quite useful if someone's feeling a bit poisoned. You know that ginger can also make them feel a little bit better. It doesn't do anything more than that, but it does make them feel a bit better. But more importantly, there is quite a bit of charcoal. It looks like the charcoal there is to help with the stove and to provide like a packing material. But charcoal also, again, acts as a bit of a absorbent for poisons and infections, things like that. You can use charcoal to help absorb venom from wounds and to absorb poisons that have been ingested or things like that. So yeah, charcoal you can take and you think you've got the beginnings of a healer's kit, but not an actual healer's kit. I should really phrase, but Babby's like first healer's kit.
Yeah, like it's something,
It's something.
Exactly.
Well, this is actually a good segue for Jin to come in. Oh wait, sorry.
What was that? Sorry, Claire?
You can do a lot with charcoal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's a doctor who said that, guys, so you know it's true. You heard it here first. Charcoal cures COVID. You heard it from Claire. Dr. Claire, all you have to do is inject charcoal into your veins and you don't get COVID. No. Stay safe, stay well, go get vaccinated. Sorry, carry on.
Especially if it goes through a fireplace.
Yeah. No, cigarette charcoal is the best. Sorry. Yep. No. None of that is true. I just want to phrase. Sorry. As actually, Claire and I are health professionals. I don't think we're allowed to say this sort of shit. I would like to phrase: stay safe, stay well, go and get a test if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated in the meantime. Try to avoid your exposure to other people, even if you've been vaccinated. Even if you're a little bit sick and you've been vaccinated, just in case you do have it, you don't want to give it to anyone else. The vaccine doesn't protect other people; it just protects you. Cool. That's the health advice. Let's get back to D&D. So yeah, Jin, you sort of walk over and see Lyra mucking about through this sort of packaging and these barrels and sacks, trying to look for supplies. Occasionally, sort of picking things up and going like, "Oh, like that could be useful," and then like putting it away again. And yeah.
What are you doing?
Sorry?
Ah, yes, two Cortiner and sort of thoughts.
Doing druiding.
Lyra, you see sort of Illyrian, as you turn around, you see Illyrian is talking to you. Like the Corvin sort of moved off to the next room. It's literally just you and Illyrian in this room. And you get the sense that he was talking to you, but in a very odd, sort of awkward way, rather than saying like, "Hello there." He just sort of started talking at you.
Oh, you were talking to me. Sorry, I was literally neck deep in these barrels trying to find stuff. And then I think Lyra's just sort of like, just as like, because she was in a completely different world, she's just sort of like only caught every second word of what he said. But I think she just sort of say again.
What are you looking for? Anything in particular?
Oh, I'm looking for something to make a healer's kit with.
As she says that, I just sort of pull from my bag a full-on stocked-up healer's kit and just chuck it on the table. Like this.
Yeah, like that. I probably should have asked someone first if they had one.
Did you need anything from it?
Well, I was looking to put together a healer's kit, so that whenever sort of the crew or anyone has like non-life-threatening injuries, that, rather than using spell slots, I could just heal them up the old-fashioned way.
Well, you are the... Wait, did we actually just... Are you actually the medic on here?
I have no idea, but...
Did we decide upon that?
I think so.
Well, look, I'm way too sort of caught up in this thieves' tools. Here, take it. You can have it if you like.
Thanks. Then she sort of like puts it into that bag of hers and hooks them to the side.
Absolutely, you can add healer's kit to your inventory.
Yes.
As this happens, the snake begins sort of like dissolving into air again. As it sort of begins disappearing, because it has now been an hour. As it begins disappearing, the sort of the essence of it, this sort of wispy cloud, sort of flies up, gives you a bit of a wave, and then with this just disappears from this plane.
Wait,
yeah.
Is that meant to happen?
Yes.
Did that thing just die?
No. It's a phase spirit, so it's not as if like he's got suddenly summoned a soul and now it's just gone poof. It's phase spirit.
Huh.
They are still around. They just came to say hi, help me out, and now they've gone on their way again.
I'm not really sure that I've ever seen anything like that before. That is
Make
truly
me an insight
fascinating.
check. Jin, make me an insight check. See if you believe that.
All right. 11.
No, it's definitely dead.
Okay.
Nah,
I just sort
I'm
of.
kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, you're not sure. You're not sure.
I'm just sort of looking at it disappearing, dissipating into smoke, looking at Lyra and just going, What, magic? Was that magic? Is that why that all just happened?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I guess so. In the sense that,
Huh.
well, I mean, other magic that involves Fae usually involves more asking rather than demanding, you know what I mean?
Oh, so that thing could have said no to you.
Well, I don't think that particular Fae would have come. I mean, it's not as if I'm summoning a particular spirit. It's I call out to the spirits and say, "Hey, I'm fighting some manticores over here. Like, does anyone want to come help?" And those who choose to come, they come forth.
That is a bit like me, but I get my powers from something else. Yes. And now I'm just sort of staring off into space.
I think she's
Are you,
side eyes.
Are you like grasping any particular item of clothing or jewelry or? No, just looking at space. Yeah.
Like, it's all within, if that makes sense, Owen,
Yep. That is correct.
from the backstory. But yeah, I'll just sort of
Absolutely, yeah.
look off into the distance and sort of shake out of it and go, I don't know where I went. Well, it's always nice speaking to you, Lyra. Very interesting chats. Talk soon. And I sort
Always
of just
happy.
walk off.
Yeah.
She shouts
Perfect.
after him, "Always happy to talk to you too."
Yeah, quite right. Well, see you soon. And I disappear into my room.
Okie dokie. I will bring us back to the main map. Yeah, as you begin crossing over, so all of this is sort of happening over that period of time, and then gradually, as the dark clouds begin drawing closer and covering more and more of the sky in front of you, you can see that the area that you're heading into over the open ocean does seem to be rather stormy. As you sort of just get to the edge of the coastline, the Ocean sort of comes downstairs. I've just slowed the ship for a moment. What do you want to do? We could try and power on through. I don't like the look of those clouds, though. What do you think? Gathers all of you together, I should specify as well.
Oh, that makes it, yeah.
Yeah, gathers everyone together. Right.
Okay,
I
so-
just. What's the plan? Do we want to keep going? Do we want to take a break? Park the airship? Just stay in the air here? What are you thinking?
So these clouds, do they actually look... Do they look like a storm is coming? Like, what is happening?
Come have a
on
look.
this?
He leads you up to deck and points.
Oh.
In front of you can see that the sky has grown quite dark. As the sun begins setting behind you, you can see that the light sort of reflecting onto these clouds, this beautiful sort of golden yellow light, is shining onto very dark storm clouds gathering in front of you. No thunder or lightning, no rain over the ocean, but definitely a section of swirling dark clouds in front of you.
That probably isn't what we want.
Lyra, what do you think? How bad does it look?
Based on her history and sort of knowledge of cloud formations, how much
Oh, yeah.
does Lyra know?
That definitely sounds like a nature check with advantage.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
Nature with advantage.
But afterwards is that they don't have nature proficiency. It's like,
Oh no.
I know. It doesn't make any sense that druids don't have nature proficiency. I argue that nature's not an intelligence check. I think it's a wisdom check. But unfortunately, that's the... Maybe I'll try and reprogram D&D Beyond in my spare time to fix that. 6 and a 7, Lyra.
Oh, no.
As you look ahead, yeah, I mean, you're not sure. Your knowledge of weather formations, you've not spent a lot of time over the open ocean. Over land, you'd think like, oh, there could be a little bit of a storm, but not going to be that intense. You don't think it's going to be that bad. You think Leosin's getting a bit sensitive, maybe. Doesn't look too bad to you.
I mean, it's not storming. I mean, how bad?
Yeah, there's no lightning or thunder right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no lightning or thunder or rain, but like, I'm also probably not the greatest person. Like, I don't have that much history over oceans. Like, I mean, how thick are ocean clouds normally? Like, with the speed of our airship, how long would it take us to get through, say, for example, this cloud that we know nothing about?
Well, the problem is I can't see through it, so I don't know how far back it goes. So I couldn't answer that question. Could be...
What about ballpark? How much on average are they?
I don't know. I've never sailed over the open ocean either. This is my first time. I flew this airship from Oxenfurt, which was overland. I mean, I did fly over the Fey Lake, but it's not that big.
Should we ask Grisha?
No.
She's been on airships before. She might know a thing or two about this stuff.
Maybe
Yes,
Corbin
I'll
as
get Grisha.
well, if he's got navigation documents. They might reference the typical weather patterns.
Yep, I'll get him. And Arvel is from the south. He's from the Shattered Isles, which means that he had to have crossed an ocean to get to Oshia. So I'll just bring everyone. Leosin sort of disappears for a few minutes, then comes back with the rest of the crew. They sort of join you in the common area looking around. Corvin looks and goes, something very important to discuss. Isn't there? Leosin goes, please. Oh gosh, it sounds a bit weird hearing my voice coming from your beak. Right, so questions. Have a look. And he points up on deck, and the crew have a bit of a look. Storm clouds. What are we thinking, everyone? What's the consensus? It looks to be a storm over ocean. We should probably not be getting involved with that. Why would you fly into a storm cloud? Good point, Grisha. Yep. Corvin goes, I am a brave warrior, but sometimes one must run.
Didn't you say glorious before?
Yes, he did.
Brave warrior. Okay, very interesting.
So he's both brave and
same voice, but different saying. And Arvel looks and goes, I'm not familiar with storms per se. I mean, I've only been across on a ship on the ocean. I'm not sure how bad it would be in the air. I'm assuming a lot worse than on the waves. Could we fly over it? Is that a thing we could do?
I was just thinking that.
Yes, we are somewhat limited in the height that we can go to safely. And he sort of points and looks. You can see that the sort of an anvil-shaped storm cloud right in the very center. I think that might be a bit high. We could try and get up and around it. What do you think?
Well, I think we should listen to Grisha. She said not to go anywhere near that.
Oh, I do not advise flying into a storm cloud. Flying over a storm cloud? Yeah, sounds like fun. Captains I have been on ship never try. They too baby. They turn away and land ship. Too boring. We should try going over. That's a good idea. I like that.
These safety concerns, are they, sort of, are we talking about like a lack of air kind of safety concerns, or more the ship doesn't have enough air to fly in and it falls out of the sky?
Because captains never sail ship into storm cloud, I cannot tell you what it's like inside storm cloud. I can tell you that they say that winds can be strong and knock people off the ship if they are not tied down or not holding on. What else they say? Water can ruin engine. That's the main things they talk about. But if we go over, problem solved.
Would Lockie have any idea of like air rarefication over a storm cloud? And also, would he know that if turning the engines off during a storm makes it more or less likely to take damage?
Lockie, you can make me a nature check, please.
Oh.
Lockie's actually ironically better at
Lockie's actually able to make these checks.
Yeah.
Nature should be a wisdom skill.
It really should. I actually 100% agree with that. It's only
And I would argue that insight is. I think insight should be either wisdom or intelligence, because I think insight as well. Like if you're trained and knowledgeable of how, like, because otherwise, like if we're thinking about it in that way, psychologists wouldn't be trained; they'd be selected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If it was wisdom rather than intelligence, like psychiatrists and things like that, like it wouldn't be. You couldn't train it. 11.
And
Lockie.
while we're on this bend, I reckon that
Yeah, go.
should be both charisma and strength.
I agree. Yep, I agree. Yeah, 11. As you have a bit of a look, Lockie, you can see already, like, sort of taking a moment, going into analysis mode and looking at the sky ahead. Yeah, you get that. You can already see that the top of this cloud formation, there, it looks to be quite a bit of wind above. And feeling that pressure drop as well, you get the sense that there is a bit of a pressure differential on either side of the cloud bank, above and below, as well as in front of it and behind it. You get the sense that one of the main things that's going to be an issue for the ship is going to be dealing with sudden drops in pressure and sudden increases to wind as well. So if the wind gets very, very strong, it doesn't matter how fast the engines are going, the airship's going to be pushed around a bit. I mean, it's not... The engines themselves are propellers. There's a point where the wind is going to be stronger than the propellers are. Looking at the propellers, you can see that the ship is set up so that if lightning were to strike the ship itself, any of the metal components of the ship, it looks like all of that is then... There are wires connecting it all towards the bottom of the ship, where it looks like potentially there is even a little lightning rod underneath the ship. I'd probably say, given your analysis of the ship, you've had 2 opportunities now to spend a lot of time looking at it. You get the sense that if lightning were to strike any of the metal components, the lightning travels through those components and then is discharged out the bottom of the ship. So the lightning bolt basically continues as if the ship wasn't there. The ship sort of acts as it is a conduit to move the lightning. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a conduit to move the lightning from through it as quickly as possible and then discharge it out of the ship again. But if lightning were to strike any of the wooden parts, or if the lightning strike was particularly violent and it overloaded that particular system, you're looking at problems potentially with fire, with electrical short circuits. And even if it's a strong enough blast of lightning, enough elemental energy will actually disrupt the ring that is keeping the ship afloat, that ring of crystal and metal underneath that allows the ship to fly. And if that was disrupted even for a moment, the ship would begin plummeting towards the ground. It would lose the ability to fly. Not permanently, but it could be interrupted for a period of time.
Well, that's quite enough to be going on. Look, it would seem that this is possibly a folly idea. Going over may work, but if we hit a bad pocket of air, we're just going to plummet into the storm itself. There's nothing to stop us but gravity once we get inside. And once we're in turbulent air, I'm afraid the propellers aren't going to be as much use as well. So our maneuverability will be down, as well as our visibility.
Right, so if we were going to go over, we'd want to be avoiding that hammerhead section there, that anvil. And
Absolutely.
You see Leosin point to the...
Well, under it has a similar problem of...
No, just like around it. Like, I mean, I know that our destination is on the other side of this storm, but like, if the storm's not super like large diameter-wise, can we just like around the edge of it and just ditch the storm altogether, or is that like too much time?
We can give it a
would
go.
We waste more time by waiting here versus going around it? I feel like it might be on the dangerous. It sounds incredibly fun, but dangerous to attempt to traverse the storm in either way.
Well, I mean, over is going to be the quickest, around probably the next quickest, waiting here and hoping it blows over soon, the slowest, I would say.
But the safest.
Definitely the safest. As long as the storm doesn't head towards the shore and hit us. If we're just sitting here and waiting in the dark, it might be hard to know where the storm clouds are. I mean, night is falling. If it hits the edge of the shore, we're going to get caught in it anyway. Just something to consider. Depends where the storm is heading after this.
Well, let's think about... My vote is for around. And I have a pretty nifty little bit of magic where, I mean, I haven't actually tested it this way, but like it could work as a big oh shit button. But I can essentially control, water, with both my spell slots. It's 20 minutes. Maybe I could just like divert the rain away from the ship for 20 minutes. Like, say we do get caught trying to go around this storm, I can give us like a 20-minute buffer to like try and get out.
Rain, that sounds very valuable. Rain is one thing, but what worries me more is the wind. Is there anything you can do about that?
Not physically. I can pretend I can make a hallucinatory bubble around the ship and we can feel really safe. It'll do absolutely nothing, though.
I've got a question. Does rain count as flowing water?
Yes,
I'm going to rule, yes it does. I am going to rule yes it does. Technically, I think rain counts as flowing water. I was just reading the spell. Until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water. However, for redirect flow, it does say you cause flowing water in the area to move in a direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up walls, or in other unlikely directions.
So I could just like divert it around us. Like...
I'm going to argue, and I'm probably going to be told off by people in the comments for this, like I am occasionally for my DM ruling. I'm going to argue that I think that's fine. I think redirect flow can be used, and it's a cube that's 100 feet on a side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could essentially create a giant sphere protecting the ship from rain. I'm going to argue that you can do that.
But only for 20 minutes.
Only for 20 minutes.
I mean, it depends what you mean by liquid, because air is technically liquid, right?
No, air's not technically a liquid, Lockie. It's not. Air's a gas. Nice try.
But it depends on how much is condensed, right?
No, but water vapor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but water vapor is not a liquid. It is a vapor. That's why it is defined as an interim state of matter rather than a separate state of matter. It's an interim state. No, you are wrong. I'm ruling it.
Second thought.
I'm ruling. Two DM rulings. Part water affects rain, and absolutely no, air is not a liquid. So I shouldn't have to make that ruling.
Third question.
Yeah.
If I can redirect enough rain, like say if it's like we're in like the center of the storm, there's a bunch of water, can I redirect enough rain like away from the ship to like create an actual bubble, essentially like excluding the rush of air also from us because it's getting buffeted by the rain, so that we've got like rain shield.
Ooh.
It's pushing it.
I'm gonna say that if you're using the water, let me just read the spell again. I want to make sure I don't get yelled at for this one. I'm actually, it kind of falls under part water a little bit as well. The separated water forms a wall to either side. But once it moves beyond the spell's area, it resumes its flow based on the terrain conditions. Could you use it to create like a protective shell of water? I'm gonna rule that you don't know until you try it, because I reckon that's a unique use of that spell that I don't think anyone's used that before. So I'm gonna rule that it's you don't know.
Edition.
Oh god.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized something. Can I add my decanter of endless water into the mix to again use the decanter to, for 20 minutes, create a bubble of water, like a shield of water around the ship, and so it's essentially like the rain that falls on it will just land on it and grow, or fall out the bottom due to gravity. So
the spell control water does not say you can create a shield of water. So you can cause a flood. You can part standing water to make a trench that you can walk through. You can redirect flow, or you can create a whirlpool.
So redirect flow, right? So it's going out of my decanter,
but it's not able to fly. Down. So it says that you can cause flowing water in the area to move in any direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles. But it doesn't defy gravity. It still has to obey the laws of physics. So the way I was imagining you redirecting the rain is basically what you're doing is you're creating this wedge shape at the front, and then the rain is being pushed to the side and then falling. But it's still falling the whole time. You're not sort of you're not Moses. I just want to get that out there right now. You're not. I mean, you can.
So cool.
If we were able
can
to
be
spin
Moses.
the decanter upside down above the ship, could you not make a bubble as the decanter keeps flowing?
But that I would say that's a bit more likely. Like if you had the decanter high enough above the ship and then have it, but then the decanter's just going to get blown away unless you can keep it in. I mean, this is some really good questions. I feel like this is...
tie it to like cool. But Mira, could you freeze the inside of our not a bubble?
I was just about to say, you know what's for all these fixed questions? Shape water.
Shape water. However, hang on. What's the size of the area you can affect with shape water? Is it 100 feet, or is it a lot less than that?
Nah, shape water is 100 feet.
Because I'm pretty confident the shape water cantrip only affects a 5-foot cube. Yeah, that was my understanding of shape water.
I can, however, freeze water for an hour, so I could make a frozen shield out the front potentially.
But my okay, no. Do you know what? I will say that if you two combine forces, if Lyra and Mira, so Mira has a decanter of endless water turned up. She uses controlled water to create. I'd even say part water could be used for this. So you basically tip a whole bunch of water onto the deck of the ship. You part it up into a wall. Mira freezes it in front. You've now got a wall of ice at the front of the ship. What happens next? What's the plan here from this point onwards? So now the whole front of the ship weighs substantially more than it did before. The ship flips over, tips all of you into the ocean. What's the next? What happens next? What's in your minds? How does this help?
I feel like this
Like a frozen bubble, essentially.
It's okay. Even if you could use those two spells to create a frozen bubble, I mean, it's not going to be that strong. And if you're in a storm, that still means that the frozen ice bubble is going to be flung about. Unless you can maintain the ship in the exact center of that ice bubble, it's just going to be you smash into the edge of the ice bubble and it shatters, and then you crash. I love it. It's so imaginative. It's really imaginative. But what you're saying just defies almost all the laws of physics and the rules of your spells that you're trying to cast. I love it. It's great. But what you're saying I don't think is possible.
You wait.
I know a
stuff yet.
I know a hamster ball of ice. I know a hamster ball of ice, and just yeeting yourselves through the storm sounds like fun.
Oh my god, we can catapult ourselves.
I've got so many problems with this though. Like, think about it. You won't be able to see where you're going, which means that the wind is just going to fling you across into the ocean. Like, you're going to have no idea where you are. How's the ice going to stay up? Isn't it just going to drop immediately and shatter onto the deck of the ship? I mean, if you don't think about it, it's great. If you think about it for even a second, what you're suggesting is really... I don't mean to poke holes, but there's just so many options for poking holes in this play. What I'm trying to say is go for it. I can't wait to describe what happens. Now roll me an intelligence check to see if your characters think of all those things.
Oh no.
Go on, Lyra. Roll me an intelligence check.
With my
I'd like a flat intelligence.
Sorry, that's advantage. Only take the first one. Oh, no.
5. Lyra, you think this idea is going to work flawlessly. You think a bubble of ice to protect the ship? Not a problem. What's your D20, Mira? Is that your intelligence check?
That's my intelligence.
18. Mira, immediately you're like, no, that's not going to work. That will never work. That's just a really big problem. Yeah. Like, as Lyra's listing all these amazing ideas, Mira's just like, would sink the ship, would crash the ship, would like, just kill all of us, would cause the ship to just crash. Yeah, we couldn't see where we're going. Yeah, that's going to like completely tip the ship upside down because the whole front of the ship weighs like an extra 500 kilos. Yeah, no, this isn't... Yeah, the ship just does like... It just does some barrel rolls forwards and you will get thrown. Yeah. You get the sense that that's probably not going to work. Although the chat have said it's magic with a smiley face, so I think the chat want to see you guys give it a go. Oh man. I feel like we started so well, and then we went on to Lockie's comment of air is a liquid, which I had to dispute, and now it's just what has happened to you guys? Has someone like smoothed your brains with sandpaper?
It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh dearie me. Look, Ali, I'm gonna give you inspiration for your ideas, because they're amazing. But Mira knows for a fact none of them would work. Mira's even like, I don't even know that spell, but I know that spell doesn't work that way.
Honestly, Mira doesn't have the imagination for most of these things. I like the first suggestion where you casted the water in front. That's
Yeah. No, that was a great idea. I think that would, in the way that control water is worded,
Yeah.
I very much think, because you're not getting the water to move outside of the realms of physics. All you're doing is you're creating like a wedge at the front of air that is pushing the water away from the ship. It's still falling, it's still coming towards you, but you're creating a bit of a safer bubble at the front of the ship. I think that makes perfect sense. That's absolutely, I think control water is good for that. Making a giant hamster ball of ice around the ship, less so, because for so many reasons.
I think she might be finishing this, like, just bomb of, like, oh, we could do this, what is this? With also just a casual trailing off. So, how many of us can fly?
Leosin looks around and goes, I don't think anyone on this ship can fly. That's why we have the ship, right? Like, isn't that why I bought the airship? Because none of us can fly, and therefore
I'm thinking more of like an emergency thing. Like if one of us can like fly, sometimes someone accidentally falls overboard.
I can cast Featherfall.
Yes, and I have these little tokens, Featherfall as well.
Oh.
That's literally about it.
Yeah, that's not flying either. That's just falling slightly slower.
It is. It probably wouldn't help us being this far up.
No, probably not actually. So what's the plan? Straight into the storm then? Is that?
Us around it?
Yeah, we can go around. Absolutely, we can try going north or south. Trying to get around it. Absolutely. Please. Which way do you want to go? It looks like the storm is coming from the northeast, which means that if we want to go to the northwest or the south, the northeast or the southeast, we'd be good to go around it. No, sorry, to the northwest or southeast to get around a storm coming in from the northeast. Yes. This is why we have a navigator. This isn't my forte.
Well then, we actually do have a navigator though, as I look at Corvin.
Yeah, Corvin steps forward, having not really been paying too much attention to the goings on, and holds open a map of the area. It looks like he's been sort of paying a bit of attention to the storm, trying to map its movement, and you can see that the storm does seem to be moving. It's coming from the northeast. It does seem to be moving towards the southwest. And Corvin sort of points to this dotted line he's drawn heading over towards the northwest to get around it, and then just heading straight east from that point onwards. That would actually quite nicely head towards your destination.
Well, this looks quite good. Yes, this
Also,
could,
I was going to say, it also puts the slightly ducky engine on the other side of the storm, which might be good too. Just in case we
that's
to breathe.
yeah, a really good idea. I hadn't even known that. What do you mean, ducky engine? What's wrong with the?
Oh,
Why,
it's
one of the engines
it's
not quite
fine. It'll get us where we're going. It just I don't know. The third cycle's limping a little. It's fine.
Oh, I'm sure that means something. Yep.
Do you not notice that every now and then it will slowly list to one direction as you're driving it?
I just assumed it's like a shopping trolley. It just sort of. Is that not how airships work?
No, it should be going perfectly straight, my man. But sure.
Oh. The man told me that was normal when he sold me this.
The man lied to you.
Fuck.
It's all right. But when we set down somewhere and shut the engine off, I'll give it a going over and a fix up for you. Not a problem.
Oh, okay, great, fantastic. Well done, Mira and Jin, for getting an artificer on board. Fantastic. This has been fantastic. We would have been in real trouble with that Lockie here.
How long would it actually take to fix that?
A few hours, maybe? Yeah.
Right, so
I could do it.
we don't
Yeah.
have the time right now, then, it seems.
No, probably not. Like I said, it's actually not super serious. Well, it might be if we need to maneuver inside a storm, but it's not crazy serious at this point. But it is something that is on my to-do list in the future when we do set down somewhere.
Well,
Sounds good. You just let me know when you want a bit of time, and I'll power the engines down, and we can have a look at them.
Sure.
Right, towards the northwest it is then. Corvin, if you want to come up with me, we can stay on the top deck and try to plan our route. Does someone else want to join us, or if you want to sort of keep an eye out, maybe take it in shifts if one or two of you want to join me for the night watch, and then I'll need to get some sleep at some point, so if someone wants to take over flying the ship for a little bit, that'd be great.
I can join you up on the deck for a while. No problem. I don't need to sleep, so...
Oh, fantastic, great. Well, Lockie, wow, that's very handy. Yes, if you'd like to join me on the deck, great. We'll get started. We'll begin moving the ship around towards the north, and hopefully we can avoid this storm.
Yes.
One thing, just before we get flying, I think it probably would be a good idea to just make sure that everyone is tied down onto an anchor point pretty much at all times if they're up on deck. It's going to be both night and a storm. Like, you know, there's a good chance if you do fall off, we're not going to be able to find you unless, you know, you're kind of tied to the ship.
Oh, yes, the man who sold me this, he mentioned that. You see Leosin head over towards one of the bunks and pulls open a section of paneling and reveals a whole bunch of sort of slightly stretchy, rubbery material with two carabiner clips at either end. And he points to the deck of the ship that has a continuous line of metal all the way around it. If you clip yourself onto this, you can move around the ship fairly freely, but if you come across someone else, you're going to have to like unclip it, clip on the other side of them, and it does get a bit messy when that happens.
It'll be night. There won't be too many people up on deck, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully no more manticores as well. No, not manticores. What were they? Chimera. Hopefully no more chimera either. Or manticores.
yes.
Great. Well, I'll head up, and if one of you wants to come up and relieve me halfway through the night, that would be fantastic.
Right. I'll follow him up now and grab one of those carabiner clips.
Yeah. Who will fly the ship when I'm sleeping? Just before I go lock myself in.
What kind of skill base do you require to fly the ship?
Piloting.
Piloting. Well, fantastic. You'll be happy to know I have no idea how to do that.
Oh, well, why don't I spend this time showing you how I do it, if you're up on deck with me, and then you can take over. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, fantastic. Does anyone else want to learn how to fly the airship while we're going through this? If I'm going to be taking a toot, may as well.
It would probably be a good skill to have for all of us, it seems. So yes, I will also come up on deck.
Okay, fantastic. And then Mira, Lyra, if you want to have a bit of a sleep, we'll do a bit of a changeover halfway through the night.
Yeah, that'll sound good. I don't want to put all of us, you know, in the same shift.
Great. And with that, we'll... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I can't see in the dark.
Neither can I, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I usually just my
So-
old ship.
Do you just want to have a sleep then? We'll see you in the morning.
I want to learn how to steer the ship.
I think we'll save that for the daytime though. How does that sound?
That's a good idea.
Great. Okay. Well, next time, Mira, I'll let you know, and you can come on deck, and I'll show you what I know.
Me too, please.
Yes, of course, absolutely. You can have a sleep while you can learn this while the boys have a sleep.
Oh.
Cool. And with that, Lockie and Jin head up on deck. Lockie and Jin, can you please roll me 2 d20s? Just one each. Sorry, I should say 1 d20 each. The ship begins heading towards the north. 2 for Jin. The ship begins heading towards the northeast, traveling around the coast and avoiding the storm. You can see that over the course of an hour or so, the storm clouds get darker and darker, and rain begins falling over the ocean. Before long, the winds, even this far away from the storm, begin whipping up, and the ship begins to be a little bit more reactive to the movement of the air, and Leosin has a little bit more trouble keeping it under control. But as you guys are heading in the opposite direction that the storm is heading, you avoid getting too close to it. 10 for you, Lockie Hobbs.
I use my inspiration and roll 16.
Okay, 16. Yeah, Lockie, you are picking this up. You're getting this. It's making sense. It's clicking. Like, your knowledge of how the engines work all ties into how the ship itself is functioning. Like, all of the functions of the ship, you're like, yeah, I'm understanding this. Jin with a 2.
No, hold on. I use my inspiration as well.
Use your inspiration for an 11. It's definitely more complicated than you thought it would be. In your mind, probably, Jin, you were thinking, I just spin the wheel and the ship goes in the direction. But because you're dealing with 3 dimensions here, the ship is actually on a pivot forwards and backwards, the ship's wheel. And when you pivot it forwards, the 2 propellers at the front, 2 propellers at the back tilt slightly up, which moves the ship down. When you pull it back, they tilt downwards, which moves the ship slightly up. And it's sort of getting a handle on that 3-dimensional space as well, knowing to check all the dials. You're starting to get the hang of it, but it's not clicking just yet. You think you probably need a couple more sessions with.
The quick question: would the Jack of all trades pop into this at all?
I'm going to argue that yes, it would, because the whole idea of Jack of all trades is that you add half your proficiency rounded out, which basically is like a way of saying like you're slightly good at everything. Like you've got a little bit of a natural ability to learn.
It would just bump it up to 12.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say I'll add a +1 to that roll. So yeah, then absolutely that is the next cutoff for learning a little bit more about it. Yeah, you get the feeling that 1 or 2 more sessions and you'll be a bit more proficient with this. If you get a bit more of a chance to learn, flying in okay conditions at night, not too bad, but you think like you still need to learn about the emergency maneuvers, different things you can do. You're not quite sure what like the way the ship can tilt and things like that. It's all that's sort of new. Leosin's keeping it fairly basic, like how to move forwards, backwards, up and down, and then how to turn left and right is what he's kind of sticking it to. He's not going any more in depth than that with you two. But Lockie, yeah, you think that you could do those basic maneuvers, no problems at all. Jin, you think you need a little bit more time learning how to use the airship, but as you continue through the night, you begin flying over the open sea. As you reach a point where the land disappears behind you and disappears in front of you, flying for about 4-5 hours at this point, Leosin begins getting more and more tired, and he's sort of like nodding a little bit off as he's been flying this thing all day and now for another 6 hours into the night. And there's a point where he sort of like leans forward and hits his head on the steering wheel and like sits up and goes, "Okay, I think that's it for me. Lockie, Jin, are you feeling comfortable taking over? Who would like to?"
So, I would actually be getting quite tired too by this stage because I've used like 2 third-level spell slots, and I'm not a automaton robot like Lockie.
Yep.
So I would also be feeling fatigue.
Yeah.
Yes. I sort of rub my eyes and I yawn. I think that a sleep would be good.
Yes. Lockie, are you okay to take over for the rest of the ship, rest of the journey?
Yeah, sure. I think I could probably take it from here.
Great.
I'll holler and I got a pipe if I need you.
Okay, sounds good. The map Corvin's just left out here. You just need to head sort of roughly at this sort of bearing for another hour or so. We've got the timepiece to your left there, and then you kind of want to even it out a little bit towards due east. And then once you hit the coastline, you're aiming for the large peninsula that'll rise out below you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 1 hour, turn due east.
Yep.
And then at dawn, we head towards the peninsula.
Perfect. You've got it. Great. Right. I am off to bed. I'm exhausted. I'll see you in the morning. Good luck, Lockie. If you need anything, just come and get us.
Okay. Have a good shutdown, Suckle.
Thank you. As you and as Jin and Leosin begin walking away, he goes, "What's he talking about? What, a shutdown cycle? What does he mean?"
I think he means sleep.
Right, shutdown. Yes, I understand now. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. He really has not had a lot of time around people, has he?
He takes things very literal. It's very easy to actually play with him.
He just does not know how to talk to people. Oh, he's pretty funny. Okay, there you go.
No, he, yes. If you'd seen the meeting that we were part of, he doesn't have any tact.
Fair enough.
He might get that one day, but who knows?
Lockie, could I have you please roll me a D20 and you may add a +1 modifier to your d20 roll.
Nice.
15 plus 1, 16. Yeah, you've been asked to do something fairly simple. You think you've got this, like, keep going on the current bearing for an hour, like, just correct for minor changes as the wind knocks the ship about a little bit, and then just turn due east. Like, it's pretty simple instructions, and you follow it to the letter. Your shift of 5 hours, sort of just moving the airship along in the dark, the storm below you towards the right-hand side of the ship, heading sort of, it begins sort of crashing into the side of the mainland, and you can hear thunder, you can see lightning flashes in the distance. You get the sense that that is a pretty intense storm, and if you'd flown into it, it would have been slightly bad news. But as sunlight rises over the edge of the horizon on the east, you can see the edge of a large peninsula of land jutting out in front of you. It feels good. The sun begins rising, the storm clouds behind you, the wind dying down. Yeah, it feels hopeful. Feels good, Lockie. Feels nice. Feels very peaceful.
And you've done very well, my girl.
You just say to the ship.
Yeah.
Very nice, yeah. Perfect. Leosin comes on board. The rest of you can all benefit from a long rest, an uninterrupted long rest, so everyone can have a long rest. Leosin comes back on board and takes over as you get close to the peninsula and begins guiding the ship over land. At this point, you have now passed on to one of the Shattered Isles. This is the Isle of Nuna, up towards the north of the continent, just off from the Dwarven Kingdom of Balmir, which is the realm of the Mountain Dwarves, the continent of the Mountain Dwarves. As Leosin guides the ship over, you can see very dense jungle below you, lush jungle. Despite its distance from the equator, the coastline is sort of walled in by these large mountainous areas that seem to trap a pocket of lush forest in the middle of the continent, in the middle of this island. The outside looks to be very sort of Icelandic coast, black volcanic sand, stark beaches, snow-capped peaks, but then the center, as you fly over these mountains, which are only a couple of hundred feet below the ship at their peak, sort of maintain this lush jungle interior, which is it's such a stark contrast as you move over the top of these mountainous areas. And as you do so, Leosin sort of calls out, "There's a large volcano in the very, very center that warms the water, keeps it quite warm in the center. It's been threatening to erupt for 100 years apparently, but so far we seem to be okay." Gives a bit of a nervous laugh and then goes, "Oh dear."
You've gone and jinxed us.
No, I haven't. Oh god, have I jinxed us? Mira, have I jinxed us?
Mira's just looking at the volcano, like unconsciously drawn towards the
So
towards it.
with
Yeah.
Jin's gonna sort of go behind everyone, and he's gonna cast minor illusion, so a sound from the ship, and he's gonna make it sound like some rumbling.
Make me an intimidation check with advantage. Fucking hell. 12.
No, it's
21.
21 for advantage.
Oh, 21 with advantage. Oh my god, 21. Yeah, everyone sort of jumps and startles. Leosin goes, shit, and oh, fuck it, Jin. Jesus Christ.
What?
By
What did I
Bahamut,
do?
that is unbelievable.
What?
As
You
he
did
realizes the
nothing.
sound, as he realizes the sound came from behind him, not from
Oh
underneath
no!
the ship.
I put.
Oh,
Yeah, you can-
I put the sound of the minor illusion from sort of where the volcano is off the side of the ship.
oh, okay. In that case, he sort of like runs over and begins looking like, what? Oh god, I've jinxed us. I'm so sorry. We need to turn the ship around. We need to go south. I'm sorry, but Varam is dead. If that volcano erupts, that's it.
But why would there's like no smoke or anything? It
Yeah,
just
but
looks
I can
very
hear it.
inactive. Can you?
I can hear
I
it,
can't
yeah.
hear nothing now.
Make me a deception check. 14. You know something about it. You did this. This was you, wasn't it?
No, wasn't me at all. What do you mean?
For fuck's sake. Can we try and maintain at least an air of... Oh no, I can't say it again. No, never mind. I'm not finishing that
Were you
sentence.
about to say an air of decency?
I was going to say an air of decency.
Oh.
Nice try, Leos.
If you could maintain the
Good
ship,
one.
that would be great. If you could maintain the ship and air of decency, that would be great. Also, if you could maintain an air of decency, that would also be great.
But yes, isn't Minor Illusion such an interesting little spell?
What an interesting little spell.
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
To just sort of walk off laughing.
Mira, if something were to happen and Jin were to fall off the side of the ship, how bad would it be?
Bad for everyone, wouldn't it?
As I walk away, I go,
I was joking.
Oh, this is
I still have feather tokens as I walk away further.
We'll pick you up and I'll push you off again then, not a problem.
I look at the ghost and I'm like, he's very good.
Yes, very good. Very funny.
I've brought out my lute and I've just started playing songs.
Make me a performance check. I want to see how good you are. Just a quick one.
25.
25. Yeah, Leosin's like, oh shit, okay, that's pretty good. Fine.
He's sort of singing,
Yeah.
like just things like, "Oh dear, Leosin, you tried your best," and he's sort of putting
He's
into
like-
a song.
And he
And
finds
just
himself
sort
like
of singing
tapping
it
his
with,
feet along. Oh dear. Alright, fine. That is pretty decent. As the ship begins sort of rounding along, you can see the edge of the other side of the coasts. You've sailed across the entire interior of the continent. It looks like this side there is a large pass, a mountainous pass through the sort of dividing ranges that block off the interior from the exterior of the island. You can see there is what looks to be some sort of town or village right on the edge of the coast that is on the edge of this pathway that then heads into the internal area of the continent, this lush jungle area. That below us, that's Borskia Bridge. I'm gonna bring us on down, and I'll try and dock. Maybe if we land in the ocean and dock at the port, that might be the best way forwards. I don't think they're prepared for skyships here. It doesn't look like much of a city or a commercial hub. And as you look below, it's very few buildings. It doesn't look to be particularly a particularly large or populous area. There are a few ships in the port and in the ocean around it, a couple of fishing ships and a few ships that look to be maybe goods or traders, but for the most part, doesn't seem to be a particularly large settlement.
So it's a port.
Might be alright for information if we're going to go further into the island.
Well, I can't see a way to land in that jungle. That's I think the only way in is going to be through the range. Unless you want to give it a go. Or do you want me to just drop you off and you can just feather fall down?
How many tokens do you have, Jin?
1. But
Can I
it will affect. It would affect all of us.
You can
That's
insight
only
check
once.
that. It casts the spell Featherfall.
Oh, right, gotcha. So yes, it would.
Maybe we should keep it for a rainy day.
So yes, it would affect all of us. But the problem is, once it's done, it's done.
Yes. That is a shame.
Like, I would wait until we got too close to the ground and then do it, so we wouldn't be splatters. But yes, not the best right now.
I mean, we have. Wait. No, it doesn't do sails. We don't have lots of ropes.
No sails, sorry. I could have bought a ship with sails, but it was an extra 20,000 gold, and I thought to myself, I don't think we need the sails. They seem like a fire hazard. You're relying on wind. I liked the propellers.
The propellers are very fine, yes.
I thought
Fortunately,
so
you
too.
can't use them as a parachute.
No, you can't use the propellers as a parachute. Could we detach them and use them as like a thrust device to lower us slow to the ground?
I mean, you technically you don't even have to power it. You just point them upwards and jump off. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. That's an extreme situation.
Yes, right. Yes, right. Shall I dock at Borskia Bridge then, the settlement below us? What do you think?
I think it's our best option.
Fantastic. I'll take us down towards the water. I'll show you how to do a water landing, and we can do a water takeoff later as well. This will be good practice for you two. Oh, well, all 4 of you. I think all of you wanted to learn. So yes, we'll spend some time going through it with all of you.
That sounds quite fine.
Ooh, yeah.
And with that, the skyship begins lowering towards the ocean. You can immediately see Leosin does his best to sort of not come too close to the town. He sort of flies around a little bit across the coastline, realigns the axis of the ship towards the coast, and then just slowly lowers it, moving forwards ever so slightly. As he touches down on the surface of the water, because it is quite calm and not very choppy, the boat doesn't rock around too much, but there is a little bit of a thunk as it does sort of like rest completely, and the propellers then move the top of the propeller, the actual blades, facing straight up, so that for takeoff it can just essentially ascend skyward. Lockie, you can see that the propellers have got almost 180 degrees of motion from straight down to straight up. So there's a lot of control that you've got over this. And with that, he begins sort of like the back propellers stay in the water and begin pushing the ship forwards. The front propellers just stay straight down, and the ship begins moving through the ocean. You can see that it would be a perfectly functional ocean ship as well if you needed it to. It's perfectly functional in the water. The settlement that you guys are heading toward, you can see that it is a number of buildings clustered around the edge of essentially what looks like bare rock that's been carved away. Black volcanic rock and those same black volcanic sands along the edge of the water, but crystal blue water, just very dark in the deeper sections. As you head towards the shore, gets a bit lighter, but again that black sand underneath making it look a little bit darker, but very crystal clear water. A number of sailing ships around. The locals here seem to be dressed in heavy furs, wearing large animal skin cloaks and things like that, and most have sort of quite wild shaggy hair, large beards in the men. You can see that it's a mixture of humans and dwarves, a couple of halflings scattered about as well, but there does seem to be a mostly sort of predominantly human, half-elf and dwarf here. Unlike Palin, which is sort of a human, half-elf and halfling population, this seems to be a much stronger dwarf population, being so close to Balmir, the dwarven kingdom. As you begin sort of like bringing the ship in... Oh, yeah, sorry?
Well, I'm just going to say, when I see sort of a lot of dwarves walking around, I think, I'll be right back for a quick second. Just keep doing this. I'll be right back. As Jin sort of departs down into the lower deck and goes to his room.
Okay, bye, Jin. He's not going to be... Is he going to be some sort of... What's he doing? Is he going to change his form again, is he?
I assume so.
I guess
unless he's had some upset stomach issues. I doubt it, though.
Oh, I didn't know he got seasick.
You hear rumblings from downstairs. They were like the
dear.
volcano.
Oh, no. I think I probably shouldn't have landed the ship then. I didn't know he got seasick. Gosh, if I'd known that, I would have parked elsewhere.
As you're sort of talking like this, you hear this like clinking on the stairs as this like mountain dwarf just appears from under the ship now, full bearded braided beard, sort of like a hair, sort of coming down, but like also like a ponytail sort of thing, like like sort of like that. So just hair everywhere, grizzled, sort of like in the breastplate still, but with like chinks of armor and stuff like that, making the clunking.
So you've added a few sort of like chain metal and things like that. Chain metal.
Yeah, just to like
cool.
What? Aye, laddie, is anybody ready to get down there?
I'm sure you'll blend in perfectly.
Right, perfect.
And the boat docks on one of the spare docks, one of the spare jetties that's sort of poking out. As it does so, you can see this quite large woman, large muscular woman dressed in these rich furs with a really bright, beautiful blue tunic underneath, steps up and goes, "I have to be 12 copper to dock each day. How long are you planning on staying here, strangers? We rarely get travellers at Borskir Bridge." Hello, my good woman. We're hoping to be here for, I don't know, a couple of days? What are we thinking? Can we pay per day? You can pay per day, but if you're late, I'm going to be docking it. I'll be taking the ship. No, you're not taking the ship. I was kidding. You just have to move it. Right, sure. 12 copper, fine. Reaches into his purse and pulls out 12 copper and hands it to her. Hey, that's a strange ship and no sails. One of them fancy sky ships, is it? Yep, that's one of them fancy sky ships. I rarely get sky ships in these areas.
I sort of walk up to her
go.
and spit on the ground as I walk.
Hey, what was that for?
Hey, didn't you see us land? Why are you making
No?
such stupid accusations like that?
don't think I like your tone, young man. You can dock elsewhere if
Oh.
that's going to be your attitude.
400 years old, lad. Lass. But now
Aye, and I think
12 coppers
strange you haven't learnt some manners in that time.
Yes.
Stepping onto my dock and spitting at me and insulting me.
Not spitting at
You
you,
don't-
lad. Lass. Fuck, keep forgetting that. As I sort of mumbling to myself now.
Aye, us Noonians are not fans of people who don't treat others with respect. You'll find yourselves in deep water here if you're not polite and respectful.
Yeah, so the dwarf will back down a little bit. And he starts grumbling to himself. Jin really gets into the method acting.
Lockie will lean over to Mara and go, is this some sort of complicated greeting?
For changelings, things are always complicated.
I see.
Leosin leans in and goes, ex-politician, do you want to take over here? Diplomat?
Usually I just enjoy watching, but I guess we're on a schedule, so...
Well, I just don't want the ship to be stolen by a bunch of angry locals because Jin spat on them.
Yeah, Mira will walk up. Is there a fee?
Aye, it's just being paid by your skinny man there. I'm
Is
not that...
there-
Okay, I'm pretty skinny. Okay, fine.
Is there a gratuity fee? And she'll just hold up just some gold, maybe.
I think a gratuity fee of 1 gold is very fair. She takes the gold piece. All is forgiven.
Wonderful. Where is the nearest inn? We wish to patronise your fair village.
Aye, well, if you head up the hill, up towards the top is Bolo's Tentside Inn. You can't miss it.
Excellent. And what did you say your name was?
Aye, you could call me Lask.
Lass, my name is Mira. It is lovely to meet you.
It's pleasure to meet you, Mira. With manners like that, you'll go far at Borskia. Tell me, are you friends or are you associates of that group that came through before?
Oh, what group was that? The other...
Aye, a group of some dragon people like yourself. There were a few others. There was a dwarf in purple robes, and a few humanoid figures. They're all wearing these strange outfits.
Yes, I see. Were those polite here? We
Well,
have-
I wouldn't say. Oh, apologies, I interrupted.
Oh, I was just saying, we have not had great encounters with them before.
Oh, well, they were. I mean, a few days ago, right? They arrived and docked at just over there. I mean, their ship was packed there until but a day or two ago, and they disembarked. A whole bunch of them got off, and this dwarf was in charge, shouting orders. Polite enough, but they seemed to be focused on something. He was asking around town about escorts into the hills when this hooded fellow came up and was asking him his business. The dwarf looked him straight in the eye, pulled out his dagger and gutted him in the street. But here's the thing. Was one of those scaled folk of the Serpent Hills come down to spy on us? That dwarf's a hero. But he and his entourage took off before we could reward them or thank them. They just disappeared. Left his body just sitting in the street. We chucked it out to sea to feed the crabs.
And who was this scaled fellow?
We've got no idea. We don't know. Oh, I think the stream might have frozen. Uh-oh. How's the stream looking? Oh no, I'm not sure when it froze. Jared, do you have your...
I'm looking at it now.
Does it look okay? Oh, I think we're back. Yeah, I think we're back. Sorry guys if we dropped out for a
Yeah, it's
second.
all good.
Mira, I think we're back. Mira, did you want to say the last thing that you just said?
I was just going to ask, actually, what was the colour of this stranger that they stabbed?
Well, it's skin coloured, but with scales. Like it looked like a man, but combined with a snake.
Ooh. Have I heard of that before?
Make me a nature or a history check. I would say Lockie and Lyra, you guys have advantage on your nature or history checks.
Ooh.
Yes, and I will explain why later. 7 for Mira, you've got no idea.
Oh my
No
god.
idea. 15 for Lockie, 12 and 15, so we'll take the 15, and Lyra nature 19. Okay. Yeah, Lockie and Lyra, you know of the UNT. Yeah, people sort of snake-like people. They sort of they range in size and shape, but they generally are humanoids with snake-like features. They can come in all shapes and sizes, but generally they have quite serpentine features. You know that they were they had an outpost on the continent of Oshia. They were trade partners for a number of the humans and half elves there in the early days. Strange that Mira wouldn't know what these things were. Bit odd. I mean, you've heard of the UNT.
Yes, they're the people, the snakes and stuff. Descended or cursed or whatever. They look like snakes. They're like you look a bit like a dragon, they look a bit like snake.
Snake people.
Yes.
You've never heard of these before,
Never.
Mira. Never before. And I would say, unless you roll an incredibly good roll, Jin, you've never heard of them either.
Oh, okay, I'll give it a quick go though.
Yeah, go on. Nature or history.
Oh, they're both 0, so it's whatever.
14. Actually, Jin, you have heard. You know that during the ruin, during the catastrophic battle between the gods and the betrayer gods, the prime deities and the betrayer gods, you know that there were a group of... They were always referred to as serpentine or serpents, or they're portrayed as being snakes more than people, but they sided with the betrayer gods and were pushed out and destroyed when the betrayer gods were sealed away.
Yeah, right.
Something about that snakes or these serpents, but something about the serpentine people. It's like, and the name the Serpentine Hills as well. It's triggering something in your memory, something from the time of the ruin. But definitely, like, from your history, they were destroyed. They were driven away and destroyed. There's none left. They supported the betrayer gods. They're long gone.
Apparently.
Yeah, no. As far as you know, it's your history. They're gone.
Okay. Well, I'll keep. I'll let the conversation keep rolling anyway, and Jin will just sort of sit there and look a bit gruff.
There's been these strange snake-like creatures or beings. They look like us for the most part. Some of them look very like us, but they've been. We think that they're coming from the hills up in the forest beyond. It's downright strange. It's ever since that expedition went deep into the forest a couple of years back and disappeared, looking for a city of gold.
Oh, city of gold. You can see
Aye.
Mira's like, both her eyes just flash with the red colour just for a minute as a draconic sort of ancestry.
Oh.
Aye, legends tell that a golden city once was sitting in the middle of a large continent. This island apparently was once a massive landmass, but sank below the waves, most of it. But in the centre was a golden palace, the people of Anurian. But they're long gone now. The ruin took them out, and their wealth and treasure disappeared with them. But the legends say that somewhere in the jungle you can find the remains of their civilization. So, an expedition finally came from Oshia, from the Oxenfurt Historical Society, and plunged deep into the forest and disappeared. We've not seen them since, but ever since they went in, those creatures have come out.
Has there been more activity recently? Any more, maybe not snake-like people, but more dragon-like people like me around?
Just that group that came through a couple of days ago, led by that dwarf in purple robes.
Did they seem interested in the city of gold?
Aye, they didn't mention it, no.
Do you know
they were looking for They were looking for a guide into the forest, into the jungle.
Did they find one?
Well, that's the thing. After they stabbed the snake man, they just took off. So unless they found someone along the path or they'd already made an agreement, I'm not sure.
Strange.
They just took off after they murdered him in the street.
Where were
I mean,
they
good
staying
riddance.
while they were here?
They didn't. They weren't even here for more than an hour. They arrived, they got dropped off, then they went into town, they started walking around asking about a guide, then the man approached them, the hooded man, they stabbed him, and then they took off into the hills, and not even a few hours later, the ship took off as well. When the people aboard, the crew, heard what happened, they just sailed away, left their members behind on this island.
Huh.
I know, strange. Most excitement we've had here for a number of years. Ever since that expedition. The hills have claimed another life. That's what the people are saying.
Do the hills eat many lives?
Aye, the occasional traveller heads into them. There's many monsters in the forests. Strange creatures, a few lizard folk occasionally, but they're mostly harmless. As long as you've got something to trade and batter, they're fairly. They don't take people unless they're already dead. They're very strange lizard folk. We try not to muck around with them too much, but I've heard tell of giants, nagas, all sorts of beasties.
Huh.
They were after something. Something that is important enough to drop their own people off and then...
Well, a city made of gold would be maybe make up for the hoard that we took.
Possibly. Or there could be some artifact in there they were after.
Quite possibly.
There's the tales of this city. Do they mention any holy items or relics?
Holy items or relics? Not that I know about.
And why hasn't anyone ever... Oh, no, I'm not that voice. Why has no one ever found it? The city?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if they have or not. They've just not returned to tell us if they have.
And this dwarf.
Maybe all of the people have found it, but something stops them coming back. Ooh. You get the sense. You get the sense that this woman's quite happy for the tale to spread and for people to come as tourists.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
And you said that they took off without the dwarf.
Oh, no. The dwarf led his group as soon as he finished stabbing that snake man. He called out to the group like, "All right, we're going," and then they just took off, disappeared into the forest. Into the jungle.
Which way did they go, lad? Or lass?
Oh, there's only one way into the forest. Lad, come on.
I love it.
You're going to be paying another gold piece for rude tax in a moment. There's only one way into the jungle, through the chasm, otherwise known as the Borsky Bridge. It's where the name comes from. I don't remember the exact legend, something about skewering a boar, but it's not a real bridge. It's a gap through the mountains into the jungle. There's only one way in and out of the jungle, as far as I know.
As far as...
Or at least that's what the expedition thought.
Well,
we don't go deep. We go partly. The outskirts of the jungle are fine, and you can head in for a couple of 100 meters or so and not run into too much trouble. We get a lot of food from the coastline, but we occasionally have to get wood from the jungle. We get other game and things like that. There's lots of plants in there that are quite good for medicinal properties, so we have to go into the jungle occasionally. But we don't venture deep. No Borskerian will go deep into the jungle, especially not after dark.
we don't go into the jungle, we can go over the jungle.
The only problem is landing. Landing amongst trees is very tricky.
That's true.
Aye, that's what the expedition said. That's what the Oxenford Historical Society said. They came on a big airship as well, but the first attempt they had, they actually crashed into the side of one of the outer areas of the Borskia Bridge Canyon. They I think one of the sails got sort of, I don't know what happened exactly, got blown a bit too far, and they crashed into some trees. And their airship, the ruins of their airship, are still there. You can still see it. It's mostly rotted and rusted now, and the jungle's done its best to claim it. But I mean, I heard that there was some good loot that could be found there as well.
Could be a good starting point. I mean,
Hey, that's towards the south. It looks like this lot were heading deeper into the jungle. The south is just the edge of the cliff face and the mountains. We occasionally go that far as well, but this lot, I'm assuming if they were looking for the Golden City, they're going to be headed due north as soon as they enter the jungle.
Well, we do have business with them. Have you heard?
Hey, okay.
Have you heard of the Cult of the Dragons?
The Cult of the Dragon?
Yeah.
No?
Insight.
Why? Is it a group that worships dragons? Yeah, go on, make me an insight check. Normally I prefer if my players ask, do I believe this person? But natural 20. 23. Yeah, she seems... So here's what you get, Mira. Yeah, she's telling the truth. She's never heard of the Cult of the Dragon before. She's definitely... All the stuff she's told you so far, watching her body language, having a bit of a listen, getting a feel for who this person is, she's not lied to you. There's definitely an air of dramatic retelling that's going on here.
Yeah.
You definitely get the sense that she's talking up the tales, talking up the whole situation a little bit, because it's exciting. It's the legend and the mythos of this location. It's what makes Borsky Bridge famous. This mysterious jungle and golden city. You don't know how much of it she actually believes. She seems very willing to take advantage of it though and talk it up and none of her stories have been lies, but there's been embellishments. You sort of like see the telltale sign of her like occasionally sort of looking up to the left as she thinks of a more creative version of the truth. But she's not lying. It's not malicious. She's just wrapped up in the story and enjoying the tale and telling it to an outsider for the first time and looking at your surprised faces and seeing the effect the story has on you. Like all of you going, oh, I wonder if they were headed that way and what we could do with the ship. She's like, oh yeah, that's a great tale. Go on. Like you think that she's really enjoying the narrative and sharing the narrative with you.
Yeah, I think Mira will kind of lean into that a bit and kind of whisper conspiratorially to Jin and Lockie and Lyra and go, well, what do you think, everyone? And she'll just kind of glance over her shoulder and just like go back to the group.
Are we
well,
whispering? Because
oh,
I don't have that setting.
oh, okay. That's okay. You don't need to whisper. She's very much invested in us. So, do you think it's the lead?
I mean, they came here for a reason. If they were supposed to all meet together after the sounding of the horn, they came here out of their way to go and find something in this jungle.
Well, like I said,
What are you thinking, Lyra?
Yeah.
I was thinking, could we maybe just do a flyover pass? Like, not try to land in the jungle, but just fly close enough that it's safe. And maybe see if we can spot them, like...
Yeah, we could even use the crashed ship
ambush.
Yes. What about you, Jin? What is your name now, anyway?
Well, just for this here little thing, it would be, I haven't actually really come up with a name just yet.
Dagon Copperbottom.
Benedict? No.
Benedict Copperbottom.
For now, though, I think we either have to go into the jungle and track them or do the flyby, but it's going to be tough. Not going to be easy going. The only thing with the flyby that might be a bit difficult is actually finding the track. Find them in the forest.
Also, say we do see them in a flyby, then 1, we need to go back and land somewhere in order to follow them. 2, they can see and know we're following as well, because it's not like it's an inconspicuous vehicle.
Yes, that's a good, a very good point, lad. Not very good stealth. I do have an interesting little spell there that might help us. Basically, I can create this like immovable hut that we can use for a rest. Nothing can get in or damage us.
Oh, that's cool.
AKA Leoman's tiny hut.
I'm renaming it Leosin's tiny hut from now on.
Leosin's.
No. Nah, Leoman's tiny hut. I love it.
So that might help us Yeah, it's really good. It's actually really good too. Like, it has multiple purposes. It doesn't even have to be just somewhere to stay safe. You can actually set it up as a defensive, like
yeah.
like
So
a
one of the
barracks
things
almost.
I used it for, I think, were you there for that, Claire? When so we had, I was a player for very rare occasions. I've been a player, and I was playing a Tabaxi Warlock, and I had Lehman's tiny hut, and there was a hole in the ground. We were doing this mountain exploration. There was a hole in the ground. And there was a fucking like white dragon below us. I was like level 4 at this point. And there was a very like narrow hole. I think it was like 20 feet across. And so what we did was to defeat the ice dragon. One of you, I think it was maybe Simon or Andrew, held me upside down. I cast Lehman's tiny hut, and then we all just like popped our hands through and blasted the dragon to death. It was great. Yeah, it was a good use of Lehman's tiny hut.
That was good.
That was good. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Great, it's a great spell.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of usability.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in underground dungeons and things like that, you can just drop it and that's it. Like, that's enemies stuck on the other side of this thing trying to get through. So you can block corridors with it. It's fantastic. I love Lehman's Tiny Hut. If you've got 2 people with Lehman's Tiny Hut, you really have got good area control in any tunnel area or Underdark area. It's a great one for any Underdark adventures.
Doesn't it take a minute to do? Or is that just because someone was doing it with ritual?
It's a ritual spell.
Yeah. You have to take I think you have to take a minute. I don't think it's an action. I think it is a minute spell.
Yeah, casting time a minute.
A minute. Yeah. So you have to be prepared. It's one that you have to really set up. Like, it's a strategy spell. But if you get it off, man, it's fun.
And even at the end of the day, it's a really good like just resting spot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great idea. Lehman's Tiny Hut. So it's going to come in very handy. That's a good spell to take.
I thought the moment I could get it, it's good.
Right, so I'll stay with the ship, and then you lot. Do you want me to keep the ship docked, or do you want me to do a little fly above, try and like stay somewhat within ice shot of you, so if you need me, you can signal, and you have to find a way to get up to me? What do you think? Says Leosin.
The only problem with that is we will lose the element of surprise, lad.
Yes, that's a good point. If I'm flying a dirty great airship over the jungle, everyone will see it. Yep, that's a good point.
Might have to go on foot.
Yeah.
That's how it's looking, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
We need a guide. We're not going
We
to
do need a guide.
Are you going to stab this one like the last guy did?
Probably not.
Definitely.
Probably not.
Definitely
I guess we've been whispering and sort of talking, and
Yeah.
I guess every now and again Lockie will just sort of talk loud. And
Yeah.
As she says this, I guess we'll all just sort of look back at her, sort of.
Yeah, she knows. She's been listening.
Well, there's not going to be. I know I was rolling perception checks for her trying to overhear you. Hey, there's not going to be. I mean, none of the Boscarians are going to take you into the jungle, but we can at least get you to the outskirts of the jungle, and you can go from there.
Perhaps we might even be able to ask one of these snake people if they are enemies of the people we seek. Then perhaps they might be willing to help us.
In our experience, they're treacherous and evil creatures. I mean, they've been trying to infiltrate our town for a couple of years now. It's always very slight and very quiet and very sneaky. We don't know what they're up to.
Well, maybe we should ask them. Has anyone asked them?
Aye, we've tried, and they've often tried to bite us or poison us or kill our children. So we've just sort of gone for the classic approach of killing them whenever we see them. That's why that dwarf's a hero. He just stabbed it, just gutted it. He knew straight away that it was a snake person, just cut his belly open. I hope he knew, otherwise he was just cutting some random person's belly open.
So I've heard.
I think that's possibly more likely.
I've sort of heard about Varum. So was there any sort of defining traits there, lass, of this dwarf?
Of that? Sorry, not. Sorry, she didn't say that. She doesn't say that. She doesn't say that. Of the dwarf.
Way easier.
No. Of the dwarf in purple. Any defining traits? I mean, he was in purple robes. They stood out. Apart from that, pretty standard. I don't really know what else to say really about him. Defining traits. I had a bald head, I think. Brown bushy beard. I had a staff, I think, some sort of golden staff. Aye, that sounds right. Some sort of golden staff, I think.
We were
Yeah.
told that Varen's sort of in this area.
Yeah, the intelligence you have is that Varim's in this area. And you also know from
Right.
talking to Talis the White that Varim is a dwarf. She called him that filthy dwarf a number of times, I think.
Are you saying he had a golden stick or an infection? I'm not sure.
Oh, well done. Hey, a golden stick.
Terrible. Sorry. I love MRSA jokes, sorry.
Oh dear. Aye, we tried a number of different things on him, but nothing worked. We just couldn't get rid of him. A golden stick. Ha 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 ha. Very nice.
Sorry, I'm professional. I think it's a pretty good shot. Should we get some supplies?
Oh, I've got some rations and things like that you can take with you. The Gerson sort of pipes up. I've got some packs just below to get you all ready.
Does anyone have a pith helmet?
Oh, I didn't stock a pith helmet. I'm very sorry, Mira. It wasn't on the list. You told me to stick to the list.
No, you're
I
right.
stuck to the
you
list.
stick to the list. Sometimes, though, you have to be something called spontaneous.
I was being spontaneous. You told me off the last 3 times I was spontaneous. You told me to stick to the list.
That's true. Okay, I'm trying. Okay. No, you're right. You're right. The essence. Okay.
Do I have a pith helmet in my disguise kit?
Roll me a D100. Let's let statistics decide. I'm going to say there's a 15% chance that you've got a pith helmet. So 15 or under, you got a pith helmet. 18. Oh, that's so close. Do you know what? I'm gonna revise just simply because I think that's so
You're
close.
Give me 20%.
I'm gonna say that it was as you head below, you're like, oh, I might have a pith helmet. You start sort of poking through, and just as you're about to leave, when you think, nah, sorry, Mira, you spy hidden underneath a silk cloth that's sort of doubles up as a scarf or a headscarf. You see a pith helmet.
I think actually everything's in my bag of holding, Owen. So in that case, I'd probably just be like throwing hats out of the bag of holding. All these
you're like hat, and then you pull a hat out, and it's not the pith helmet. You're like hat, you pull another hat out, no, it's not the pith helmet.
I've probably got like a collection of hats like behind me now, sort of piling up.
Lots of top hats, a few berets. There's a large cowboy hat, a Stetson. There's like a bonnet, like an old widow's bonnet as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, and there's like a day at the races.
So as I look at the oh, here you go, Lockie.
So is there a fez?
Yeah, there's a fez, absolutely.
Oh, that look quite dashing.
As I get the bonnet out, I sort of look at it and go, yes. I remember that one time in Oxenford. Yes. And then it just sort of throw it behind me.
Yeah, and you pull out a pith helmet.
So I don't know if Mira's paying attention, but I'm gonna try and as she's like talking to like this person, I'm gonna try and sort of throw it so it lands on top of her head.
Oh gosh. Make me a sleight of hand check as you throw a pith helmet at your friend's head. 24. Hang on, that's a stealth check. Is your sleight of hand the same as a stealth?
It's the same. Look, I'll show you.
Okay. As you sort of reach, yeah, beautiful. Jin, as you reach in, you grasp it, and you realize you do have a pith helmet, and in one fluid motion, you just fling it up into the air. Mira, you sort of get this fright. Suddenly, something flies towards your head, and you duck your head down, and the pith helmet tunk lands on your head and catches on your horns and sits at a slight jaunty, rakish tilt. Hey, that's what the historical society were wearing too.
She gets very excited. She turns around, she holds it in her hands and just looks at Jin and she's like, thank you. And she puts it back on, like, just. Does anyone have sunscreen though? We need to have sunscreen and mosquito protectors, yes.
What sunscreen?
Oh, it's like this paste that you can do to reflect the rays of the sun. My people use it all the time up north, but with ice.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to now put all the hats back in the bag of holding.
Oh yeah, it just takes a few minutes just to chuck them all back in again. Perfect. Alrighty. I guess the plan is for you guys to head into town and then up towards the rift, up towards the the Borskia Rift. Fantastic. Well, I think what we might do is we might leave it there and we'll have the Borskia Rift and then heading into the jungle as a single session. Before we leave off, though, was there anything you wanted to do in the town? Did you want to try and speak to anyone? Did you want to go... Was there anything you wanted to do in the town? Because I think we could get the town done today and then we'll do the Borskia Rift and then into the jungle after that.
I think that...
Next session.
Oh, sorry, you
go ahead. Oh. The only thing that Lyra, I think, would really be wanting is just to sort of stock up on, like, a decent amount of rope, you know, in case they come in, like, across any, like, caverns or need to climb.
You are in a fishing village. There is plenty of rope. How much rope do you want to get?
Depending on how much you can carry, maybe 50 feet or so?
Yeah, you can get 50 feet of hempen rope. I'd say that...
Join you on that one and get 50 as well, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. For you both to get 50 feet of hempen rope, you can add hempen rope to your inventory. I'd say to purchase that, it's only going to cost you, I think, for 50 feet, quite well made rope, going to be 2 or 3 silver each, so not much at all.
Okay.
Cool.
Simply because they need the rope for their livelihood, and to convince them to part with it is a little bit more. So I need this rope.
Gives them 3 silver.
Why, it's very generous, lass. Thank you very much. Here, have some rope.
Thank you.
You said 2 or 3, did you not? It would seem that the lower number would be 2, so here's 2.
Thank you. Thanks. Takes the 2 gold, hands you a slightly less nice hempen rope. It's a little bit stained, it's a bit old, there's some, like, a couple of barnacles clinging to the outside of it in certain points where it's been underwater for a bit of time.
Fair.
Jin and Mira, would you guys be doing anything in town before we head into the rift?
Well, I think as we're all walking in, and everyone's talking about, we'll get some rope, we'll get some supplies. Like, I'm sure Mira's like organizing like a list of like a shopping list and whatever. So everyone's sort of being productive, and Jin's going into town with the idea of also being productive. But I'm sure that as they're walking through, he'll probably see the glint of silver somewhere and get sidetracked, and sort of with the party still sort of stuck in productive mode and getting things. I think Jin would sort of slink off, and his gambling floor would come into play.
Oh, yeah, so you see 2... As you sort of head up the narrow pathway between the houses. The houses themselves are very low, squat, and they're actually built into the cliffside itself. So the outer section is made of stacked sheets of stone that's been hewn from the rock. So almost like slate. And then it's been sealed with some sort of mud brick. And then the houses they actually go back into the cliffside. And you can see that there's chimneys that have been carved into the rock face itself. The houses are sort of very low to protect from the wind, and the front doors are sealed around the edges with what looks like animal furs on the front of the actual door and on the back of the door. But yeah, as you begin heading up the narrow pathway that snakes around the cliff face up towards the top, the others are all sort of moving about. Jin, as you sort of like look across, you see Lockie and Lyra start moving towards an older gentleman, sort of quite a large red nose, quite sort of like sunken, sallow skin that's been pockmarked by a lifetime of living on the sea, dealing with some rope and coiling some rope. And they go over and start talking to him. Mira sort of is lost in thought, looking around a little bit. And then as you turn back again to the left, you see 2 gentlemen, a dwarf and a half-elf, probably half wood elf, judging by the coppery colour to his skin, playing a game with dice and these strange stone figures just off towards the side.
So yeah, as I'm sort of looking around, I see that, I just sort of go, ooh, and then I just sort of slink away from the group, just sort of caught in the sort of in the game and seeing the coin. And I sort of as I approach, I won't say much. I'll just sort of watch them a little bit and see what they're sort of like, get a bit of an idea of who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they're playing some form of dice game where the aim is to roll the dice. So you have you have 5 dice. You roll the 5 dice. and then you can choose to re-roll, but every time you re-roll you have to put more money into the pot, and it looks like they're trying to get to a certain number, and you watch as the first time the dwarf, it looks like he gets to sort of it adds up to about 23, and he goes, oh fuck, and passes over the gold, and the elf goes, yes, fantastic, shall we play again? Aye, one more round, come on, one more round. And again, they roll the dice. This time the elf re-rolls 1. He's currently at 12. He rolls dice, gets up to about 16. Goes, okay. The dwarf gets to 9. Ay, fucking hell. Rolls 2 dice, pays in 2 silver, rolls 2 dice. Gets up to about 18. Goes, oh, you're in trouble now, pointy ears. The elf rolls again. Gets to 19 and goes, oh, I think I'll stop there. Well, re-roll? Give up? Reroll, give up. Oh dear, what are you going to do? One more reroll. Come on, my luck's going to change. He rolls another dice, and now the total on the dice faces adds up to 21. He goes, you not, but skill. Hand over your gold, please. The elf pushes over the gold and goes, fucking hell, well done. Yeah, well done. It looks like a form of blackjack using dice.
Yep, perfect. I'll sort of wander over. Hey, well, what's going on here, lads?
Hey, welcome. Here to play a bit of dice poker.
always down for anything.
Blinds 1 silver. Agreeable?
Go on then. I don't even really think about their values too much. When it comes to gambling, I go into a bit of a haze and just want to do it.
Now, do you have dice on you? I think you do, from your background.
I don't know, because I got the forgery and disguise kit stuff.
If not, they'll give you some dice. They'll loan you some dice. All right, perfect. Can you please roll me 5d6?
5d6.
The elf immediately rolls a total of 24 and is bust. You roll a total of 25, you're bust. The dwarf rolls a total of 9 and goes, aye, 2 silver for free. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Takes the 2 silver away. 1 from each of you. The elf goes,
give him silver.
1 more round, and that's it. No more. 1 more round, okay? Hey, 1 more round. Give you a chance to win your money back. And you, stranger, 1 more round.
Hey, let's go again.
Alrighty. 5d6, please.
That's better.
Yeah. So the dwarf rolls 19. The elf rolls 11. You roll 16. The dwarf goes, I think I will re-roll none of my dice. The elf has 2 1s, a 6, a 1, and a 2, and goes, I'm going to re-roll one of my 1s. He pays a silver in. So he's now 2 silver, and he rolls one of his things. He rolls a 5, which takes him up to 15. Illyrian.
I'm gonna re-roll.
You can choose. Yeah, you can choose to re-roll.
I'll re-roll one of me 2s.
Yeah, go for it. Just roll a d6.
So.
Oh no!
14. It goes to 20.
Oh yeah, it does too. Sorry. I was a moment. I was like, oh no, yeah, 20. The dwarf goes, fuck. The elf looks and goes, oh dear. Right, here we go. He's going to re-roll one of his other ones. No, that's a 6. He's out. That's it. He's out. That's 22. Fucking hell. Well done. As he passes you, so you get 3 gold from the elf, 1 gold from the dwarf. You get 4 gold.
So, perfect. I'll probably keep doing that though, as long as I can. I won't keep playing more games because.
No. I was just going to finish up there. Once. Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
I guess we can just figure out how much I lose or win later on.
Yeah, we'll roll some percentile dice as a carousing check. Perfect. Well, I think on that note, on some gambling addiction.
What did Mira want to do though, quickly?
Mira. Sorry.
I never actually said.
Sorry, Mira.
That's okay. I guess the other thing was that you're right. She would just be getting things, but in the Spirit of Tomb of Annihilation style, is there actually any, like, if you're going to a jungle, is there any bug repellent, a la Cholt?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely bug repellent. You can see the general store, which is flagged by a large banner hanging out the front showing a number of like sacks and crates and barrels. As you sort of step on in, you can see there is a gnomish lady sitting just on a little stool by the counter, and behind the counter is a humanoid gentleman. He looks to be in his sort of early 30s, I'd say. Large scar down the side of his face, and he's got a shaved head on one side, and then a sort of a flop of messy hair hanging down the other. And as you sort of enter, he goes, "Hello, welcome. What can I get you? Is there anything you need?" And the gnomish woman who's sitting down in front goes, "Please try that again. Welcome to Madame Sand's House of Wonderful Supplies. How may I assist you this morning?" "Much better."
Ah, a trainee, I see.
"Intern."
Intern. We need to get an intern. That's a very good idea.
As you say that, he leans forward. He goes, Are you hiring? Are you looking for an intern? Please, I need to get out of this place. This place is the worst."
Well, do you have a resume? She'll just whisper conscriptal.
I'll put one together.
Do you know anything about the jungles?
It's really dangerous. Why are we whispering at the jungles? It's really dangerous in the jungles. You're probably gonna need some torches. It gets quite dark. You probably want to get some tinder as well. It's very hard to start a fire. It's quite wet in there. And you'll need probably some bug repellent.
You do sound quite organised, young man.
I
might have a job for you if you wish.
She hits me every time I get it wrong, so I've learned quickly. He holds up his wrist. You can see there's a couple of red welt marks on his arm where it looks like a stick has whacked him.
Aww. Mira's a bit enraged by that. She just leans forward and she's like, "Listen, if you want a life of adventure, meet us by the airship in an hour."
Oh God, no, I'm out. No, I want a quiet life.
Well, that's a shame. You seem like an organised type, and there's definitely room for organised people in the jungle.
The jungle's scary. People die. People go in the jungle and die. I'm not going to die. I don't want to die.
Shame.
So, bug repellent?
Yes, everything you think we'll need.
Citronella sticks. He pushes over a few bundles of incense. Just light these and it'll keep stuff away.
Perfect. She'll just get a few other things, like you said, like lanterns and...
Yeah, absolutely. We can figure
I guess
out.
it would be like a kit, like a adventurer's pack or something like that, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just a few things to top up your existing adventurer's pack. I'll let me know what you want in the chat later on, and I'll message you through how much it costs. But it won't be more than a couple of gold tops, like for everything
what I really
that you need. I'm assuming.
I wanted a pet intern. That's what I really wanted. But
okay. Sorry. So when I roll stats for NPCs, this man is shy, reclusive, and just wants to live a quiet life.
Aww.
So I was like, when you offered a life of adventure, it's like, that's it. No, not interested.
Well, one day, Mira, it's in her head now. She needs
We'll get an intern.
She's going to be.
She needs an intern. Amazing. Awesome. Well, I think that's where we'll wrap up for tonight. I think that's a good place to wrap up story-wise, and then we'll start next session as you guys head into the Borskia Rift. That is going to be exciting. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. It's been lovely having you on board for our 40th episode. I can see we've had a few people jump in and out of the chat, so thank you so much for popping in. It looks like Jin's being given advantage by Dragon Wolf, so thank you very much, Dragon Wolf, for giving Jin advantage. I've marked that off, and we'll keep that in mind for future. But yeah, everybody stay safe, stay well. We will all be back next Wednesday for some more Dungeons & Dragons enjoyment. Until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, a very enjoyable weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday.
See everybody.
Hey guys, thank you.
See you later, everyone. Farewell. Oh, I should say, I will be back doing some more streams. I will be doing some more VR streams. Now that I've got the Oculus Rift all up and not the Oculus Rift. Now that I've got the Oculus Quest running really, really nicely, completely wireless, I am going to be doing some more VR stuff. So stay tuned. Harley and I might be doing some more of the Ragnarok that we did before. That was really, really fun. It's like Beat Saber but Viking, and you're hitting a drum.
Nice.
That was really fun. Oh man, that was good. Otherwise, if you guys are free at some point over the weekend, I might do some more Akron, which, if you guys aren't aware, is a game where I'm in VR as a giant tree. You guys are on your phones as squirrels trying to steal my acorns, and I'm in VR. And so I can see you all in VR, like running around these little fucking squirrels, and you guys are on your phone. You can see me as this giant tree in the background. I'll let you guys know when I'm playing. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
It's amazing.
How many people
awesome.
can you have in that?
You can have up to 8.
Well, then you might even be able to get 1 or 2 people from the chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. It's a free app, so yeah, I think it'll be lots of fun. Awesome. Well, I will see you all then. Stay safe, stay well, and goodbye, everybody.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
Farewell.